A lot of breathing.
A lot of breathing there, yeah.
Move your mic a little further away.
Who's breathing? Am I breathing?
Someone's breathing too much. There's too much breathing. I'm not sure.
I'll take your breathing. I haven't been able to breathe.
Try to stop breathing.
Hello everyone, Eric Watson here, freelance writer, player of games, writer of words, recorder of videos, and tabletop role-playing aficionado. Welcome to our weekly live-streamed Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition online role-playing adventures. I'm joined as always by my good friends Chris, playing the noir detective human rogue Mannix.
Hello, Eric.
Heather, playing the wickedly silent but deadly half-drow rogue Kaless. Rochelle, playing the popular and charismatic Triton bard Gillian.
I'm very self-conscious about my breathing now, so I'm going to keep myself on mute the whole time.
It's fine right now. It was just when it first came on, I was like, whoa.
As soon as you move the mic like a little bit to the left there, it stopped.
Raymond is on his way to us, playing naive but lovable turtle fighter Georgiano. He is literally en route in his car. And Reese playing the undead-hating, animal-loving hill dwarf druid Theron.
Yes.
I had to give you all. Your intros may change depending on the course of actions that you take during this campaign.
Right.
I had to just come up with something. We stream our sessions live on YouTube every Friday evening. You can catch up on previous episodes on my YouTube page, as well as read weekly session write-ups at roguewatson.com. And watch my behind-the-scenes, No Players Allowed live series, Crafting Annihilation, on Thursday mornings. If you'd like to support my channel, you can go to patreon.com/roguewatson. Personal shoutouts to patrons of the Platinum level, Andrew and Brian, and Gold patron, Juicy. Thank you all so much for your support. For our campaign, we use Roll20.net. For streaming, I use Open Broadcaster software and Streamlabs.
That is a mouthful.
Sure is. I'm going to get better and better at that as we go.
See, what you should do is like record that, and then all you have to do is hit play.
No, you got to do it live. It's part of the fun. That way we can do all these little fuck-ups in the beginning. Trip over everything. Previously on Tomb of Annihilation, we made our characters.
Did we?
That's, yeah.
Are you sure?
That's all we did. We just made our characters. Everybody is prepared and ready to go. We are at session 1 of Tomb of Annihilation, and we are going to start this session by going...
Yeah. I have a 5 intelligence.
That's right. That's what happened.
What have you done? We're going to go back in time a little bit to kick things off as we explore some of your backstories and prologues. A decade ago, the Triton-controlled oceans near the Sword Coast were invaded by an army of deep-sea monstrosities led by the Kraken Slarkrithel, chosen of Umberlee. A young brother and sister from a noble family of Tritons became of age during this bloody conflict, of which the surface world was never even aware of. The siblings were well loved by their people and were especially adept at dealing with passing ships and surface folk. They were sent, along with a diplomatic envoy, to a large ship that had entered their waters. Its name was the Bitch Queen, named after Umberlee, the dark goddess of the sea. And that's a real thing! And it was a floating temple filled with her devout followers. The Triton envoy's mission was to broker a peace and drive them out of the area with words instead of steel. The leader was a charismatic cleric of Umberlee named Soretha. After a few days and nights of socializing and politics, the Triton envoy was ambushed by acolytes in the night and slaughtered. The young siblings managed to escape the blades and spells, but were separated when a violent storm tossed the ship around as if Umberlee herself were enjoying the massacre. The sister escaped back into the sea, but lost sight of the ship and her brother, Sibarath. She wanted to track it down and find him, swearing a ferocious vengeance on those who wronged her, but the war at home waged worse than ever, and her people needed her. The opportunity finally arrived when the Kraken was dealt a serious blow during the War of the Giants. The Kraken and his armies finally retreated back into the depths. You were finally given leave to pursue the enemies who nearly killed you and hopefully find your long-lost brother. And Gillian, your personal quest is... if I can find... it's only... all these quests are only going to be in your respective journals, is The Curse of the Bitch Queen.
That's a pretty good title for a quest.
Sure is. Super evil. And it is editable by you, so you can make notes on there, but I've added the kind of starting little summary on there about what is your personal quest. Now, will you please roll a D100 for an object that belonged to your brother that you keep as a memento? And I'm doing this because we always forget to roll for that random trinket when we start a new campaign.
That is a thing, isn't it?
It is a thing. I have to go to that trinket page. I don't remember what that is.
Thought you were about to say I have to go to the bathroom.
I didn't time it very well.
It's gonna be a long night. Sorry.
It is an emergency.
Stand by.
All right, yeah. Please roll a D100. Michelle?
Oh, me? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. You were the Triton in that story.
I'm bad. I'm like thinking I'm still a dragonborn. I was like, who are you talking to? Not me, right?
98. Okay, your special item that belonged to your brother that you keep as a memento is a glass jar containing lard with a label that reads griffin grease. You can put
A
that.
weird family.
You can put that in your.
Vegetarian.
Not
Are
anymore.
the trinkets in
Griffin
here?
grease.
Your brother may be doing
Alright.
some weird stuff.
There we go. There's the
A
trinkets.
glass jar containing
Here, I
containing
can-
lard. Okay.
I can copy and paste this.
It was very special to him.
This is part of the live thing, is I'm just rolling a D100 or seeing what we get.
All of the trinkets that gross?
They're all just random ass objects.
He called the jar Maxine.
The cheating queen. Oh lord. Let's see, who is next? 2 years ago, two dwarves stand among the hills of their sprawling homeland. They've been best friends
Chris.
since they could walk. The friends couldn't be more different. One is brash, impulsive, proud, a paragon of dwarven virtues, while the other is calm, cautious, contemplative, a misfit among his people. Both had big news to share to one another on this day. The brash one produces a scroll and waves it excitedly. He's purchased the deed to a long-lost mine, nestled in the mountains of Chult, of all places. He's siphoning much of his clan's money into funding an expedition, and he wants his friend by his side. But the friend hesitates. He has his own news to reveal. He's leaving their homeland and heading for a life of seclusion in the surrounding hills. He's never felt truly comfortable at home, even among his own people. And after the near elemental apocalypse and then the giant uprising, he's found a calling that goes beyond himself and his people. The old friends argue bitterly, fingers point and tongues lash. The brash one looks ready to fight, but the calm one turns and walks away, and the friendship is shattered. Then about a month ago, you receive a letter. You recognize the handwriting instantly, though it's written in a shaky hand. It reads, "Theron, everyone's dead or lost. We made it to Wormheart Mine, but the dragon... I found something. Something that will make it all worthwhile. Come to Port Nyanzaru. You're the only one I trust. We'll make it back there together." The letter is signed Hugh Hackenstone. And your personal quest...
The dwarves.
See, you all changed your name, so I'm going to update that. Aaron is... The Flame and the Forge.
Mm-hmm.
Theron, would you please roll a D100 for an item your friend gave you back when you were kids that you've always cherished? I hope it's another jar of lard.
Is this the exact same jar of lard? How?
Oh my gosh. You... the item that your friend gave you when you were kids that you've cherished is a small idol depicting a nightmarish creature that gives you unsettling dreams when you sleep near it.
What a weird friend.
No wonder you're not comfortable at home.
The root of all my problems. All my social anxiety is right here.
Oh man, I might be able to tie this in some interesting ways. A nightmarish creature gives you unsettling dreams. Why would you keep that? It's
Because it's from his friend.
He threatened me if I didn't. That's why.
Keep this near you always.
Or else.
oh my lord. All right, so Flame of the Forge. Let's see. We've got. I would do Raymond's next, but hopefully we'll give him some time. We'll do his last. Several weeks ago, a half-drow moves with mechanical precision, dragging a young woman into an arcane circle. Once she would have called her friend, but in truth they were both thralls of the mistress. The woman pleads, but the half-drow's face shows no emotion as she steps backward. A wizened old mage in blood-red robe stands within another magic circle. She spreads her arms wide, arcane power crackling all around her. The young woman screams as the circles thrum with energy. Seconds tick by, the screams echoing inside the half-drow's head. A transformation begins to take place. As the screams become fainter, the old woman's flesh begins to smooth, the wrinkles fading away, her posture straightening. In just the briefest of moments, the mistress loses her hold. The half-drow looks down at her hands and flexes them. She doesn't hesitate after that. Moving at the speed of darkness, she grabs a dagger and hurls it into the circle, ending her friend's suffering. The mistress screams in anguish, the transformation only half complete. The arcane circle explodes outward, knocking everyone back. When the dust clears, you are gone. Zagmira's face is a ruin, half of it appearing as a young woman, the other half retains its wrinkled age. Her fury ignites the room with crackling energy as she stands, guards and slaves rushing into the room. Find her! And your quest, Kaless. Personal quest is Rags to Liches.
Really?
Would you please roll a D100 as the one item you swiped from the Red Wizards when you fled?
Oh, please be a jar of lard.
I feel like these are all mixed up. Like that
Yeah.
item should have been from the Red Wizard.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we get for doing the random roll. You picked up a small packet filled with pink dust.
Okay.
That
could be
works.
anything. Yeah, that could be literally anything.
Literally anything.
Okay.
As the one item you swiped from the Red Wizards when you fled. Red Wizard cocaine. Chris, I was going to save yours for last, but since we're still waiting on Raymond, how about we go ahead and do your backstory, and I will go ahead and let you read it.
Okay.
You did it in first
I
person.
wrote something.
Yeah, you did.
All right.
Teacher's pet.
There's
Here
Raymond.
comes Raymond.
Oh, there's Raymond. Do you want to save yours for last then, or do you want to go ahead and do it?
I'm sure if you want to. It's up to you.
Let's give him a second, see if he's coming back. He's got very good timing then.
Yep.
Catch up on the chat.
Pitch
Good morning.
perfect timing.
Good morning from the UK. I am so impressed. We've got folks.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Is
Hello.
it- What time is it there? Is
It's-
it 4:45 in the morning?
It's got to be
That's
something
not-
like that. Yeah, 3 or 4 in the
Like a
morning, I think.
7-hour time difference.
Yep.
I think the UK is 6.
Are you guys also going to spin class in the UK?
5 a.m. spin class.
5.
Endorsed by Rochelle.
5 a.m. spin class.
Raymond, you're here. Hey, we're doing our character intros, and you are up next.
Did I really make it right on time?
You, more or less. We're halfway through the
22 months late.
prologue.
For your purposes.
Several months ago, a young warrior has defeated every man and beast on his small island of mostly fishermen and merchants. The young warrior seeks out a remote hut on the other side of the island, finding the eldest Tortle warrior from an old clan of Tortle warriors who have all but been forgotten. Mudgraw is dismissive and blunt, but he's a seasoned veteran who survived many an expedition into the mainland of Chult. He sees a promising talent in the student, imbuing him with discipline, strength, and knowledge over the weeks, but the true test was yet to come. At the behest of his mentor, the young warrior is sent away from everything and everyone he knows. He journeys far to the Sword Coast, where he meets people and fights creatures he'd only ever seen in picture books. He lives by the Master's Code, lending his strength to those who need it, and never selling his sword for gold or power. Just when you think the old man was simply trying to get rid of you, you get some surprising news. A message from your mentor. I've heard tales of your deeds. You've done well. If you truly have what it takes to become an advanced age ninja turtle, come to Chult. Meet me in Port Nyanzaru to complete your training. And Georgiano, your personal quest, which I'd recommend changing your display name because all the cool kids are doing it, is Monster Hunter. And would you please roll a 1d100? As the object your mentor bestowed upon you before you left. The object your mentor bestowed upon you. This makes no fucking sense. This entire experiment was an utter failure. He bestowed upon you a purple handkerchief embroidered with the name of a powerful archmage.
I stole this.
Oh no, they were lovers.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Every time you blow your nose, remember my lover.
His name was Talus.
It's canon now. Alright, Mannix, we've come to you.
All right.
Please give us your backstory.
Ever since I can remember, I could read people. I could read faces like a book. Easier, even. You need schooling to read a book, but people came natural.
Books like people.
You might imagine that would be advantageous to a young man growing up in the slums of Baldur's Gate. And sure, being able to spot a liar or violent intent came in handy at keeping me alive. It turns out that spotting everybody's bullshit and calling them out on it is no way to make friends. But stay alive I did. And as soon as I was old enough to hold my own, I found a vocation that made use of my particular skill set. I started doing private investigator jobs. Turns out, knowing who to talk to and being able to tell if they're lying is all you need to find most people. I started taking private contracts, tracking down runaways, cheating spouses, and even a few escaped criminals when the local guard didn't have a clue, which they never did. But after years on the job, I was getting restless. It's lonely work, and I was getting sick of hiking through back alleys, looking for lowlifes, and the jobs weren't paying well enough to get the hell out of Dodge. So when the dame walked through my front door last week, even though I knew right from the start she was nothing but trouble, I welcomed it. Something new, I thought. She was blonde, bold, and beautiful, with a fiery passion in her eyes and a deep blue cloak. There was definitely some elven blood in there as well. What I thought were odd freckles on her face turned out to be patches of golden dragon scales when she lowered her hood and stepped into the light. She told me to call her Zandala, and she had a small cat-like dragon perched on her shoulders that she called Summerwise. She said she had a job that would pay me enough to get out of town and then some. A simple missing persons gig. Find her missing father, a man named Artis Kimber. The name struck a nerve. It was hard to avoid the Harpers in the city, and Kimber used to be some kind of bigwig adventurer with them till he disappeared a decade ago. And none of their fancy magics could find him again. It was enough to go on. There were leaks in the Harpers, and I knew just where to squeeze to make them pour. I eventually came up with the name of a jungle-filled chunk of land in the middle of nowhere. Chult. I'd heard of it, and I knew it was bad news. The man-eating dinosaur kind of bad news. But the pay was still too tempting, and Zandala was ecstatic at the development, offering to book my passage out of pocket. Should have known the dame was too good to be true. The next morning she was gone. Turns out she'd gone straight from me to the docks, and hopped a boat to Chult with nary a goodbye nor a coin of payment sent in my direction. I was angry, but I was also determined. The broad wasn't going to cheat me. I'd find her father first, and then she'd pay me what she promised. So now I find myself looking for passage to a jungle that will probably kill me, to chase a lead that's been cold for a decade, for a client that doesn't want my services. On the plus side, I could use the sun.
Mannix, please roll a D100 for the mysterious item you found that may be tied to Artis Kimber. God help us all.
I hope it's something amazing.
A dildo.
It's not, but it is now.
You found a vest with 100 tiny pockets.
I'm so jealous. I'll trade you my lard for that.
The first session is just gonna be everybody pooling together their random shit they got.
We'll sprinkle some
Some
pixie
some
dust on
sort
the
of-
lard and see what happens.
Insane apocalyptic barter system. 4 vests for 1 lard, please.
Like, how tiny are these pockets?
I mean, are these like nickel-sized pockets?
I mean, they gotta be. It's a vest.
How big is this vest?
Yeah, exactly.
I
Is the
need
vest for an elephant?
more clarification.
I've got some pink dust we can put in there and see what.
Yeah, fill like 50 of the tiny pockets will be filled with pink dust.
We won't know
Manix,
which 50 either.
Manix, your personal quest is the Ring of Winter.
Mm.
So now you should all have your own single journal entry under the personal quest subheading of the journal. Subheading or folder. Folder is what I meant to say.
Hmm.
All right, that was just the prologue.
Cool.
Our story begins in the middle of the night, in an old monastery nestled in the somber hills, which looks like this. Some of you might remember this one.
Mm-hmm.
Down a dimly lit hallway, beyond an unmarked door, lies an arcane laboratory. A figure shuffles tirelessly between bottles and tomes, barely making a sound. A sudden flash of blinding light fills the room. The startled figure turns, its empty eye sockets growing wide with alarm. You! The room returns to darkness, but another figure has emerged. It's skeletal like the first, but stronger, deadlier, and far more ancient, with long flowing robes and a gnarled horned helmet. Clutched in its bony hand is a long staff adorned with a skull. And I've got a picture right there. Both figures react at once. The room fills with explosions of color, heat, and light. The smaller figure screams a single word, Callanar! Moments later, the door explodes. Stepping into the room is a gold dragonborn wearing gleaming plate mail adorned with the symbol of Tyr and brandishing a pulsing warhammer. The paladin doesn't hesitate. He charges forward with a singular purpose, raising his warhammer, and is frozen in place. The intruder swirls its bony fingers in the shape of an hourglass, and the chaos within the laboratory slows to a standstill. The horned figure reaches out its other hand, and a corner of the room explodes with littered books. An ornate chest emerges, glowing with angry runes. A snap of the fingers and the chest opens, revealing a large amulet with a black jewel. It flies into the hands of the intruder, who clutches it greedily. Another flash of light, and the room explodes once again, hurling the other figures around the room. They scramble to their feet, and the intruder has disappeared, and all is still. For the past several days, the talk of the streets and taverns has been all about the so-called death curse, a wasting disease afflicting everyone who's ever been raised from the dead. Victims grow thinner and weaker each day, slowly but steadily sliding toward the death they once denied. When they finally succumb, they can't be raised, and neither can anyone else, regardless of whether they've ever received that miracle in the past. Temples and scholars of divine magic are at a loss to explain a curse that has affected the entire region and possibly the entire world. You all have your reasons for wanting to travel to Chult. There aren't many ships that travel that far. In fact, you've found only one, the Brazen Pegasus, launching out of Baldur's Gate. Which we've got a visual aid right here. You all witness the effects of the death curse as you make your way through the city streets of Baldur's Gate toward the docks. Throngs of people crowd outside of temples, crying out for answers. Many people wear bandages and bear rotting flesh, and the crowd gives them a wide berth. You've noted the curse affects everyone, regardless of race, gender, or wealth, and there appears to be no cure. You all arrive at the docks. Some of you have already met, and even have traveled together. Kalles, you tried to mug Manix in an alleyway at knife point a few days ago. He surprised you by offering you a job to accompany him to Chult and use your skills as a sort of bodyguard. He's the first person that hasn't treated you like a dark elf criminal. You've also heard rumors of red wizards operating in Chult, and could use his skills to help track them. So you accepted. Theron, you found yourself in a scrape last week. While seeking shelter from a storm, you stumbled into a giant spider's nest. A wandering turtle came to your rescue, but you stayed his sword and calmed the beast, reassuring it of your mistake. Giorgiano was impressed by your fearlessness, and your stubbornness fondly reminded him of his mentor. When you both revealed you were headed to Chult, you joined forces. The four of you arrive at the docks and find each other staring at a ship with a flying horse as its figurehead. Half a dozen crew are crawling around the ship like a busy beehive. Before you can speak, a loud procession of locals walk into your vision. Striding ahead of them is a beautiful, blue-skinned woman with prominent aquatic features. She's laughing and smiling while her entourage fawns over her. You see a pair of handsome young men carrying what look like her bags. As she walks closer, she turns and dramatically bids them farewell, much to their disappointment. When she turns to you, her eyes are fierce and determined. Gillian, you recently learned that an unmistakable temple ship of Umberlees is rumored to have wrecked off the coast of Chult. So you are all currently standing at the docks together.
What was that last part? What's off the docks? It's a second ship or something?
Gillian had learned that the temple ship of Umberlee, the Bitch Queen, is rumored to have wrecked off the coast of Chult.
Oh, okay.
As I realized I didn't specifically put in a reason for her to go to Chult, just to find a brother. So that was you did find one like clue that once makes you want to go to Chult. And although you can swim, Chult is 1,000 miles away.
Long ways.
Boats are better. A middle-aged female.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna look at this like blue-skinned lady who comes with you with an entourage, and I'm just gonna sort of say to Calais, I'm gonna say, this is a bit more attention than I was hoping to draw on this particular boat. Suppose we ought to make friendly with the accompanying passengers, eh?
If only so they leave us alone.
Yeah, I'll go up and introduce myself to Gillian. I don't know, are Theron and George just standing around the same spot?
They have
All
to tell
there?
me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just staring at this fish person, thinking it's way too ostentatious, and
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it.
Yeah. No one's happy about her showing up.
Celeste is silently figuring out how she can kill all of you. If it came down to that.
Gillian at this point is just sort of like striding along and just sort of like looking like not looking at anybody, just kind of looking off and just assessing, the surroundings, but not willingly engaging with anybody.
All right. Well, in that case, Maddox walks up to introduce himself, and she just keeps walking. Just sort of, yeah,
Doesn't even register.
All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
I've got 100 tiny pockets here.
Put my tears into one of them.
Celeste will go up to Mannix and be like, I believe in your culture she is a 12 and you are a 3.
Christ, lady. Be generous, will ya?
I was being generous.
I have an intelligence of 5. That is just
No tact.
none. Zip.
I'm a 5 at lowest.
Ask anyone. While you all are talking, a middle-aged female gnome dressed in full swashbuckling regalia, covered head to toe in dangling jewelry and sporting a few old scars across her face, emerges from the cabin and barks out orders. Did I have her picture somewhere? I have a token. Token might work. She notices you all near the ship and swings down the ropes to the docks with practice ease. A large, middle-aged bearded man shadows her every step, his eyes clearly sweeping for threats. I think I can show that. The gnome's grin is wide and mirthful. I see you eyeing the Pegasus, fastest ship on the short coast, and like the rest of these idiots, I ain't lying about it. Captain Ortome Swift and Dark, And if you're looking to get to Chult, you've come to the right ship. She gestures to the keen-eyed man behind her. First Mate Grigg, man of few words, but loyal as a shadow. Any of you out of line, it's his fist you'll become acquainted with. Now, you don't all look like the knightly or priestly types I'm supposed to be picking up. You with the Order of the Fist or whatever? She kind of looks at you all expectantly. You have had no contact and most of you probably don't realize how much it costs to get to Chult yet, so you just kind of showed up looking around, and all of a sudden she basically acts like she's waiting for people to come aboard.
Good evening, ma'am.
Oh, oh, you're one of the turtles. I've seen your kind, a few of y'all in Port Nyanzaru.
I'm looking for a way to get back to Chult.
I see. I didn't know you were joined up with that, oh hell, what's the name of it, Grigg? The man just doesn't say a word, he's just frowning at you all the whole time, just especially like at the more exotic members and...
I frown back. We have a frown
There's
off.
so much frowning.
Bearded
Oh my god.
frowns.
Somebody takes out a knife and just cuts the tension in half.
I'm just going to push past through everyone at this point and just walk up to the captain and say, well, I'm sure you understand that I am on a very important mission here, and I really do appreciate your utmost helpfulness in, assisting my endeavor. So I do think it's time we be taking off, don't you think?
As
Whoa,
she's
now, no
talking,
cutscenes,
I
no
am
cutscenes.
literally walking around to look at her as she's talking. I'm fascinated by a fish talking.
The gnome kind of stares up at you wide-eyed. She's like, "Oh my, one of the fish folk, yes, quite the talker. You speak our tongue very well. That's not. I'm sorry, that was probably mean." She kind of like reels back and just kind of like a little surprised, but not really like nervous or scared. She looks like she has seen the likes. She at least has seen the likes of like turtles and tritons before, but maybe hasn't quite conversed at length with any. But she kind of like nods and says, "Well, you're not exactly what we were expecting." Let's see. Where am I?
And what were you expecting exactly?
Well, not long after we made port here, I was contacted by that the Holy Order, the Order of the Fist, Gauntlet, something. They offered a tidy lump sum to ferry a dozen or so paladins and clerics to Chult, reinforcing some camp they have in the jungle. Only one of them has showed up. Go ahead.
What do I know about the Order of the Fist? The 24 history check.
There's no such thing as the Order of the Fist. You're pretty sure she's talking about the Order of the Gauntlet, which is
okay.
the it's basically a holy order of like paladins, and what basically Callanar ended up joining at the end of the Prince of Apocalypse campaign as kind of an official. He was like the top-ranking member of that order in that region.
Okay.
So they are
The
basically
Max
a lawful
immediately
good, like the
How
Avengers, yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of international, yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Mannix immediately corrects her. Gauntlet. You're thinking of Gauntlet.
Yes, that's the one. Sorry, didn't mean disrespect. You all paid up in advance. Only one has showed up so far. Half-orc, Priest of Torm, if you can believe that. She's kind of a sweetheart, which is even harder to believe. Oh, that was probably mean, too. She's already on board. I guess you're the rest of the crew? You are with them, yes?
I ain't got no gauntlets. Or clothes, as a matter of fact.
None of you look anything like paladins or clerics, so you're all...
Right.
I'll join this order. I'm looking for a gang to hang out with. Posse, you could say.
She assumes you're already part of the order, was what you're thinking.
I'm in character.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah,
See what
okay.
she's talking about.
If it'll get us to Chult, we're whoever you need us to be, lady.
Well, now, this is a bit of a pickle. I I need to ship out today, you understand? The way the seas roll and the storm's going in, there's very limited windows we can go to Chult with, and nobody else has come, and I mean, I can't let just anybody aboard the ship. Grig, what do you think? Grig, the man has a deep frown, and somehow the frown gets even deeper as he's just staring. Theron just falls over backwards.
KO!
Frown off. Have a frown off.
It's a frown off. The frown has been going the whole time. Yeah, it's a
I
battle.
didn't think it'd get any deeper.
You don't see it, but on the astral plane, there's just two giant warriors fighting. He just kind of grunts and whispers a few things to Captain Ordame, and she's just kind of like, well,
George
Mac's
is
gonna
walk
say-
around and tip his hat.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
I was gonna say, seems to me that if you got a contract with these gauntlet folks, then it would do you better to have a record of shipping some gauntlet members as opposed to shipping nobody.
well, I suppose so. You will give them a good word for me, of course.
Sure. The first gauntlet member I see.
Well, that you are part of that order, though, yes?
And he just rolls his eyes a little bit. Yeah, I don't think you caught what I was saying, ma'am.
All right, all right.
If you need for the records to have shipped Order of the Gauntlet members and they haven't shown up, well, we might be those members for your records, for your contract with
Like,
the Order.
While you're in the middle of talking, Grig kind of like leans down and wants to whisper, and she's finally like just like does this to him, just like, all right, look, we've been stuck here long enough. The crew are ready to ship off. These lot, they don't look that bad. The man's frown is just fucking on the floor now at this point. It's just, come on, Grig, you can handle it. And she kind of does this
It won't be
motion.
no trouble to you, Grig.
The man just fucking stares daggers.
Can I try to pick his pocket?
Oh my lord,
That's a good start.
that's a good start.
I'm not saying anything because Gillian is like, you know, lawful good and like a bard and not really into lying so much. But she's just gonna kind of not say anything, but flash her signet ring just to be like, you know, I'm
Can
important.
I pick her pocket?
I'm somebody.
Oh, she's somebody.
I'm
This-
gonna flash my homeless man rags.
Well, you're all not what I was expecting, but neither was she, I suppose. Look, ferrying folks to Chult isn't something we normally do, but the pay was very solid. Unless any of you have some sea legs, I guess some of you do. Just maybe stay out of the way of the crew, all right? We've got some makeshift beds, very makeshift beds, into the hold. You're not gonna have your own rooms or nothing. This isn't some floating hotel. Whole trip's gonna be about 10 days, and most of it nothing but sea in every direction. Might want to kiss the ground before you hop aboard. And you all...
I've never been on a boat before.
At that, Grig kind of huffs. He kind of turns around. He actually waits and goes last after all of you, and she kind of does this fancy, like, jumping up on the rigging and, like, spinning across different ropes and everything. Clearly very used to traversing the ship.
Greg and I will stand at the edge of the boat because neither one of us wants to let the other behind them.
Is that thing safe to get on, George?
I think it is. Haven't been on a ship in a long time.
You won't enjoy it. Ships are bullshit.
Why?
A ship killed my grandmother. Stabbed her in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah? Why are they bullshit?
Seasickness, it's a thing.
Well, shit. That sounds bad.
What is that?
Honestly, I don't know if you got the same guts as I do, kid. Maybe you'll be fine.
You hear Captain Swift and Dark shouting out orders, and at some point, Greg finally just huffs and gets on board Kaless, so you can finally go.
Okay.
You quickly note as you get on board that this ship is definitely not used to having this many bodies on board. It is clearly a meant to ferry things and not people. So it's got crates. It's got it's got crates and barrels, and just it is not set up for like individual rooms or beds or any of that kind of thing. So automatically your heart sink a little bit when you get on this ship. And within pretty much the hour of setting foot, Captain Ordeme gives the last call and casts off from the port as your journey has begun. As you get on the ship... Actually, I forgot. Yeah, I have a world map. Okay, so one thing I want to show before we do cast off is I have a picture of the map. The world map, just to give a little bit of context about where we are in the world, since we've all played some D&D now and have some experience with a little bit of the geography, mostly the Sword Coast. So to give some context, the red square was Princes of the Apocalypse. The the red square was Lost Mine of Phandelver. The green square was Princes of the Apocalypse. And the blue square was Storm King's Thunder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Now,
that's right.
scroll down and you will see the city of Baldur's Gate, which is where you all are casting off of, and the route you will be taking is straight ass south.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's nowhere even near where any of people were before.
Correctamundo.
Hundreds of miles away.
Hundreds of miles away, yeah. So you're already starting like way far away from where we've normally played in the adventure. This is all considered... The Baldur's Gate is like the ass end of the Sword Coast when it comes to Sword Coast adventures. And you guys are shipping out of there and basically going straight south. And honestly, this map cuts off and probably goes for another about the length of that red line before you reach your destination, if you do. Bum, bum, bum. On the ship, you guys... So you've met Captain Ordeme, you've met Grig. It's a bunch of kind of just generic... They look like... a lot of them look dark-skinned, probably from Chult. But there's just kind of a mix of men and women and different ethnicities. But the one person that stands out is a half-orc. We can switch. You guys have a boat map. There is a half-orc dressed in robes. You guys see the boat map?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I see another dwarf, or is that a man? Down here at the...
That's just kind of one of the crewmates. He's just kind of working down here.
Okay.
You all are here. There's, you can just become familiar with the boat. It's fairly small. There's going to be just kind of generic. Yeah, these are all, this right here is the generic crew token. So he's, again, this is man or woman, different ethnicities. It's kind of all that. So gets to have that. But Captain Ordeme is up here. And then this fellow right here is Grig Rudell, the first mate.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, white-haired. Okay.
Yeah, he's an older gentleman. And the one person that sticks out from you, once you guys want to explore the hold area, is a half-orc woman wearing robes. And you probably see her pretty immediately once you go down. Who wants to go down? Or what do y'all want to do just when you first get on board and you're first shipping out, basically?
Like, are we in open water?
You are not. I mean, you still see land behind you. You're still on the first day of going out to sea. So you're still just at the very beginning legs of this trip. You're probably just starting to get settled or whatever. And
Plus is in the crow's nest.
You're gonna climb to the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going all the way to the top to the crow's nest.
Okay. There's already somebody up there who looks very, very startled and worried to see you.
I'll
You
just
gonna be
give
okay
him
up there?
a
You don't
side eye.
look very athletic.
Like, I'm not sure you're supposed to be up here, lady.
I ignore him. I say nothing.
They did tell us to stay out of the way, Celeste.
I can't hear you. I'm all the way at the top.
Yeah, she's gone. He's talking to himself.
You like start talking like to remind me to like stay out of the way because again, intelligence of 5.
She's
And
gone.
you just see me climbing. Just like the feel of freedom at the top with the open water. That's what she's looking at.
Gillian is at the bow of the ship, just like watching in the distance pensively.
Nice.
Mannix is probably talking to members of the crew and like the captain and stuff, and just sort of getting a feel for them.
Okay.
Not necessarily interrogating them, but just sort of asking them, just sort of generic questions. And while he's doing that, rolling insight checks on everybody, just constantly.
Yeah.
And just
Most of the crew most of them don't really want to talk to you guys. They just seem kind of nervous about this whole thing. Like, they're clearly not used to having people on the ship that's not them. So they're not necessarily super unfriendly. They're just clearly uncomfortable and not very chatty. Grig is obviously not very chatty, and everywhere any one of you looks, it's not more than 10 seconds before you see that guy just like staring you down, and it's just he's very, very just a wariness about him. Essentially, he's just watching you like a freaking dog.
Yeah.
Ortome is the friendliest.
Mannix tips his hat to him every
Yeah.
time he sees him.
Ortome seems pretty friendly, but she's also very busy. She's just constantly like walking
Yeah.
around and telling things and looking at maps and just doing all kinds of stuff.
Well, then I'm gonna try to
Yes,
find
right.
that half-orc lady.
Want to spar?
To one of the crew member.
Yeah.
Yeah, that quickly like looks you up and down like no.
Giant turtle man.
Yeah. It's like
I
this
need to
is
get my skills up. Who on this ship can I spar
George
with?
is over there like hacking at wood.
yeah, like don't
that
do that. Just like slicing at the main mast. No,
He's like practicing his sword.
we need that to sail. Oh Lord, someone get a training dummy.
Every now and then he'll like lunge forward.
Theron's going to actually cast Druidcraft
Ooh.
and see what kind of weather is going to come up.
Okay, how's this work? Predict where the weather will be or location for the next 24 hours. I don't know what kind of radius that is for your location.
I'm guessing just that spot.
Okay. You notice that you are starting to haul ass now. It feels like it's pretty clear at the moment, and everything says clear skies to your druidness. But you do note that the ship is starting to pick up speed, and it might be tricky to pinpoint it. Although it is a cantrip, so presumably you could just be constantly like measuring the weather as you go. Zing, 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 zing.
24 hours from now?
Yeah.
24 hours from now?
Just going to have the orb follow me around.
The crew definitely are not happy with seeing spells on the ship. And Grig nearly just fucking strides over to you. And it's only because Ortome finally puts a hand on his shoulder and just kind of whispers in his ear, and he just kind of huffs and frowns some more and goes finds something to do.
They're really not going to be happy when at night I have the dancing lights go running around.
They're going to think the ship is haunted.
These people are ghosts.
Alright, so yeah, the ship does have a second level to it on the beneath. You guys are on the top right now, so these stairs right here and right here go down. And then the other stairs obviously go up to the bow and aft.
If I see Mannix heading towards the bottom, I'll climb down and follow like his little shadow.
Okay.
I'll actually look for that half-orc woman that we were told about.
Okay. I shall move you all over here. And you probably noticed, I don't know if we used advanced dynamic lighting before, but now whenever you do dynamic lighting, it'll keep it there, but you'll actually lose sight of the tokens.
I'm surprised it's working because I tried it once in the last campaign.
Yeah.
And it fucked everybody's shit up.
Oh no. Maybe because
I
this
don't
one was
remember
built in
that,
with
like,
it. I think I do
maybe,
remember.
yeah.
I think you did it like right when it.
Near the end,
First
it
was
was one of the
available,
last. Yeah, I think it was the Maelstrom, and it just. Yeah, I forget what it did to everybody, but it messed everything up.
Yeah.
This
All right.
seems to be working.
So yeah, beneath the hold, like I said, you see some spare little rowboats, as well as it just seems like it's stocked full of like crates and barrels and just goods. And then there's just people. When you see a token, that person is working essentially on the ship. Like there's nobody is just lingering
Everybody's
around.
constantly.
Yeah, literally everybody's like doing something essentially. There might be like one or two people like sleeping in that shift because they kind of have to do off shifts since the ship is constantly moving. But pretty much everybody is either working or eating or sleeping. There's going to be a lot of leisure time at first.
Is this guy a dwarf? Next to me?
No, these are all just the generic crew member
Okay.
tokens. They're men, women, different ethnicities. All of them appear to be human, though. At least.
So an ugly man.
An ugly man. Yeah. Yeah. Upon leaving, you see the a half-orc woman actually comes out of a room and almost mimics you, like turning the corner and just kind of you almost bump into each other. And she looks very nice. She, as for a half-orc, like she looks basically like just a tall woman, except for she has a greenish hue to her skin and just little like underbite tusks, like just coming out there. But she could almost pass for human, except for the obviously like greenish tint and the little tusks. And she is tall, and she is startled when she sees you. But she introduces herself as Undril Silvertusk, cleric of Torm and low-ranking member of the Order of the Gauntlet. And kind of looks at you expectantly and says,
Okay.
"Oh, I heard that more of the Order came aboard. You, I'm sorry, I don't recognize you." And she kind of looks back and sees Kaless lingering in the shadows, and her eyes kind of grow wide a little bit.
Max will say, you wouldn't. Us winding up on this ship was just a series of coincidental events as it happens. We're not Order of the Gauntlet.
What? But
Your folks never showed up, ma'am.
how did you show up then? How are you here?
Ship
Pirates. Ah.
Yeah, we're taking the missile.
When your people never showed up, the ship needed to fill its records with shipping people to Chult, and here we are.
Heather blinked out for me. Is that true for anybody else, or is she?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
This is, I don't know if this is related, but this is what happened with the
Oh,
dynamic
no.
lighting. Everybody's camera started fucking up. Remember now.
Okay.
I don't know. This may be unrelated.
Yeah,
but
well,
I
we'll
do
see.
know that's-
I can always turn it off if it's needed. She looks
Can you
very.
see me?
Yes. Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Sorry, I came on the GM layer again. I had to refresh.
That's weird. I don't know how that's happening.
That's just her special ability.
Yep.
She looks very sad and anxious and just kind of confused. Said, "Well, I mean, I knew I was the first to show up, but I thought there would be others. It said they needed help. There's a camp in Chult that the Order established about several months ago. And last we heard, they were in a bad shape and they needed some reinforcements. Obviously, it's very dangerous, but I can't refuse a call like that when others need aid. Are you here to help reinforce?"
Immediately suspicious of her good-natured outpouring is going to stare at her for a long time.
You stare at her a while and kind of read her mannerisms and just kind of like what she's wearing and how she's talking, and she appears genuine. She, like the way her eyes look and her breathing and everything is very natural, and she appears that she is a member of the Order of the Gauntlet, and just a very kind person that just joined up to reinforce this mission and was expecting others to do the same because, of course, they would. She expects everyone to be as good and kind as she is.
Mannix, very, very imperceptibly behind his back, is gonna make a little hand motion to Celeste, almost like a stand down sort of hand motion. Like there's no danger here.
She'll remove her hand from her short sword.
She does, and Undril doesn't notice any of this. Like, well, it's just you two then?
Says, well, there's the two of us. There's three others. Folks I don't know very well, to be honest with you. A dwarf, a turtle man, a fish person. Who knows?
Her eyes kind of just grow wider. Oh my!
It's a collection.
I've never met fish turtles before. This is all very...
two different people.
This is all very overwhelming. A two-headed fish turtle?
Yeah, you'll meet him.
Yes.
Stars.
There are two heads.
Well,
He says, but sadly, none of us are there on whatever your personal religious mission is.
at this she kind of folds her arms and kind of stands up straight, and she is about a good head and shoulders above you. And she says, "But we paid for people on this ship. Did you pay your way, or did you join on the ticket of the Order of the Gauntlet?"
Yes.
That's what Celeste says. Yes.
Yes. From behind me. I don't even say anything. Celeste just says that.
Yes, we did. I have a 5 intelligence.
Oh man, that's gonna be.
I'm
so
sorry.
bad
I hear
for
my mom
someone.
calling.
I have to go home.
She appears a little upset at that and says, "Well, clearly, you are now initiates of the Order of the Gauntlet. I am still a pretty low-ranking member, but I can deputize all of you, and we can go to Camp Righteous together.
Camp
That
Righteous.
is how we make
Best summer camp.
this right. You can be heroes." And she kind of smiles as if she just completely persuaded you, like heart and everything.
Mannix will tip his hat to her and say, "We'll be whatever you need us to be, ma'am.
It is Casmet
If
that
it-
we met
if
each
it-
other.
If it'll get us to Chult, sure, we're initiates of the Order of the Gauntlet." Well, in his head, it just like he can leave anytime he wants to. Like,
Yeah.
He's under no obligation here.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. She kind
Just
of
get
not.
deeper and deeper. I can leave anytime I want.
You've been promoted to cleric of the Order. I can leave anytime I want.
You're an old man now. Oh no.
I should have left.
Anytime.
She got me good.
She at that she kind of nods as if the matter is settled, and kind of moves upstairs to meet with the rest of the crew, and talks to everyone. At this point, she has kind of a mousy personality, but she feels like she's taking you all under her wing, because clearly you are, since you showed up here. She's the kind of person that always expects like everyone is just super good, and so she's like, "Well, clearly you showed up as replacement reinforcements for the Order of the Gauntlet." And
I'm gonna go up to her and say, "Oh, good, darling. You will get me a cup of tea, won't you?"
Tea? I don't know if there's any tea here.
Oh, well, just fetch the butler and I'll ask him for it.
Oh my.
She didn't listen to a thing they said.
Yeah.
I was up here the whole time.
Yeah, she just walked right on.
Yeah, you probably just assume she's like the help or something. You guys can mingle some more during the day, but otherwise the day is going to be passing. She does. Undril does reveal that she has been doing some research on Chult. She is the one that would, if told to go somewhere, she is going to read up about that place. Kind of a nerd. And,
I will try if we're just sort of socializing with people after the fact. I will try to just find out like what the order is doing in Chult, like why she's headed there. I don't think we got that.
Yeah, she says that several months ago, the Order of the Gauntlet established a campsite, kind of a foothold in Chult, specifically because Chult is crawling with undead. It is lousy with undead. Yeah, it's like it's super. Yeah.
Theron just cursing behind us all. What?
Yeah. She says, do you know the legend of Ras Nisi? And all of you
No,
are...
I could recite it word for word.
Yeah.
Do I know that? No. Never heard of it before.
Is that the famous painter? Yeah.
Oh my, no.
Happy Tree?
Theron's like, the manager of the Wendy's down the street? I hate that guy.
Hey. With a -3, I still got 15.
That's something.
Yeah.
You might have recalled for some reason, maybe when you were under the thrall of the mistress, that you'd heard of this.
She learned about it before the traumatic brain injury.
Yes, a fallen paladin. He was once a great paladin of Chult, one of 7 holy champions ordained by Ubtao, who is the old god of Chult. He was the sworn protector of the city of Mesro, which lasted for thousands of years. This super grand, ancient city that was the heart of Chult. A civil war broke out across Chult. At this point, she's just kind of reciting what she had read.
Mm-hmm.
Civil war broke out across Chult. Ras Nisi committed genocide to an entire tribe of people. As punishment, he was branded with a blue triangle on his forehead and banished by the other divine champions. Ras Nisi...
I'm going to argue with her of how she pronounces the names. It's Nasi.
How do you think it is?
Nasi. Ras Nasi.
She's like, Gesundheit.
Yeah.
And it's Optau. Not Uptau. Optau.
Uptown. We're going uptown.
I don't
Yes.
think... Well, I've only read it in books and heard it by my superiors. He became a warlord and swore revenge. He used his powers to raise an undead army from the people he had slain and waged war with Mesro. He was defeated, but his undead armies still roam the jungle to this day. They're leaderless, but incredibly dangerous. And she says that it's always been a problem in Chult to where the people basically have to just hole up in the one remaining city in Chult, the only place civilization can exist right now, which is this Port Nyanzaru right on the coast, as the deep jungle is just fucking crawling with undead, among other things. And she said that the Order of the Gauntlet went down a river and established a campsite kind of on the edge of the territory where the undead is, and just in the hopes that they eventually build it into like a big fortress and a stronghold, and then move out from there and just start clearing it out. The problem is, it was a very remote location. It's very hard to get to Chult, and the last communication they got was that everything is going bad. They're being besieged by monsters and undead, and there's disease, there's biting insects. It's just fucking miserable. And you're all hearing about this going, oh.
Yeah, what the fuck are we doing going here?
Yeah. And she's saying this like, oh, we've got to help these people. Like, they're so, So yeah, and then their last call was they need reinforcements, and And here we are. She's expecting like everybody to be like, oh, and when she doesn't, she's like, oh.
That's.
I will just take a drink of my water skin and just look at her as I drink.
I'm just excited to be getting home.
Yes, I've heard the toils are from that area. Do you know, Chult? And George, you can say what you want, but you have never been to the mainland of Chult. You grew up on a tiny island off the coast of Chult.
I grew up on a tiny island off the coast of Chult. But I do know a lot about the island. Stories and brochures.
I've heard a lot of brochures.
Never been there, but I can kind of see it from a distance, and just really hard. You can kind of see the people over there doing their people thing, or portal things. I mean,
She just kind of stares at you oddly.
George is still talking.
He's still talking.
What?
I'm pretty sure my island is about the same. It's just, smaller, more condensed.
Oh. She just kind of turns like, huh.
Next,
I don't think she cared for your story, George.
You seem like such a nice turtle.
Why, thank you, ma'am. Tips his hat.
By the way, who are you people?
I've never met you.
Yeah.
Mannix. Calder Mannix. Heading to Chult for business reasons. You are?
Theron Bristlebeard, druid of some hill.
Some hill.
The god Sumhill.
Here to get my friend out of a heap of trouble.
Mannix is going to look around and sort of kind of start to realize that of the five of us, we're all probably headed to this island for reasons that don't include what this orc is talking about. Because why the fuck would anyone want to go to this island?
And yet you're all here.
I'm going home, sweet home.
So, did I hear that we're ordained or something into some cult?
Oh no, it's nothing like that. The Order of the Gauntlet we're a lawful order, and she kind of rattles off a few of the tenets, and your eyes glaze over. But then she says the words like either rooting out or destroying undead, and then you're just fucking like right back in.
The undead are a blight upon this land.
She's gotta
Have
take
you
it
ever
back.
seen one chew a tree in half? That tree did nothing to anyone.
Oh my! Those poor trees. They also
I
kill
know.
people, I think.
What? Well, yes, I'm around more trees than people, so I wouldn't exactly know.
That makes sense.
But it does make sense.
At the mention of a lawful order, Callista's just gonna look at Mannix and raise one eyebrow.
Yeah. It's the price of admission, folks. We want to make it on this ship. You'll all note we didn't pay a penny. Apparently, traveling with the Order of the Gauntlet here, and he's going to motion over to the half-orc, is what it takes to get us from here to there.
Well, if it was just
That-
a penny, I could pay it.
Alright, I couldn't tell you how much it actually costs.
None of you have asked.
No. I don't want to. I'm like, as long as it never comes up.
There's Undrill's picture if you want it.
Okay.
Hey, you're kind of green like me.
He sidles up too close.
Sister, is that you?
Hopefully not my sister. You want to have my babies?
Oh, no.
Why did you go there when you thought it was sister? That's not what you do with your sibling.
I mean, turtles. Who knows, right? Who knows?
This is what I rolled, but... And he cites it off. It is my duty to provide children just to save my tribe.
Just the very first green-skinned person he meets.
Yeah, basically. You're the one.
George, I don't think you're of the same species.
I haven't seen anyone like you in a while. I've been training out in the mountains with my master. It's kind of lonely out there.
There's not enough eggs to fertilize. All right, at this
It is
point,
my duty.
Please.
the afternoon continues to pass. It is fairly uneventful after that. Undril has essentially told you what she knows about Chult and the Order. She is free to converse with, but you don't really get any actionable intel out of her beyond that. And she just kind of lingers and really kind of respects the crew and tries to stay out of their way, and kind of like pores over her book and does a bunch of praying to Torm and that kind of thing.
I would really like to continue to talk to her about the correct way to pronounce names.
She kind of entertains you a little bit and tries to be really kind, but she mostly looks annoyed.
We got 9 more days, lady.
Yeah.
It's a long journey.
On the evening of the first night, Undril gathers you all together looking very anxious. We're going to put everybody in the bottom just for funsies. She produces a sending stone and explains that she's being contacted by her superiors within the Order. And you guys did not know she had this on her. As the first to sign up for this mission, she reveals that she was given the stone to provide updates on the task at hand and when she got there and all those kind of things. The stone, and she produces it, is about the size of a palm. It's small and smooth and carved with the symbol of the Order of the Gauntlet. And it is currently glowing and humming. And she looks like she's about to kind of activate it like normal, and it seems all very normal. And then she suddenly cries out and drops it on the floor, like right in the middle of all of it. And you all kind of formed like a little circle. And she clutches her hand. Do what?
Let me get that for you.
She clutches her hand as if it's burning, and you feel a heat radiating off of it. So, George, you move down to pick it up, and then you immediately just back up instinctively. It feels like a fire. And then a beam of light shoots up out of it as the stone hits the ground. And she cries back. She's like, "It's not supposed to do that!" And by this point, several of the crew member have started coming down the stairs, and are like, "What the hell's going on out there?" And fucking, you look around, don't see Grig yet, but you know he's probably fucking coming. The light that it's still beaming up opens into a rectangular window, and you realize you're looking through a shimmering portal about the size of a portrait. You see what look like the inside of a temple. Several robed figures have their hands outstretched and are chanting, their hands glowing with magic. Their robes bear the same Order of the Gauntlet symbols. A strained, whispery voice rings out in excitement. "It's working!" An imposing figure enters the frame, a gold dragonborn draped in plate armor. He appears disheveled, like he hasn't slept in days. He appears to nod and begins to speak, his eyes sweeping over you.
This is it, okay. Undril, we have an important... Who the hell are these people?
The rest of the reinforcements...
I'm George.
Hi.
The Dragonborn looked like he's about to launch into an argument, and then sighs and shakes his head as he addresses you all.
I am Callanar, protector of the Desserin Valley, knight of Tyr, and vindicator of the Order of the Gauntlet. And I need your help. You were sent on this mission to reinforce Camp Righteous, but we have new information. It is about the death curse.
He pauses to see if any of you react. And you all have heard about this death curse and seen it firsthand. Undril's eyes kind of widen in alarm.
I frown.
Callanar frowns back at you from his load. Several days ago, we were attacked here in the monastery. My lords Something of his was stolen. Something powerful. There are not many who could penetrate our defense.
It was... Oh, sorry. I started the chat. It was a Shipwreck! That arch-lich asshole! A whispering voice interjects as another figure enters the frame. You all take an involuntary step backward as a skeletal face fills the projection. He who travels through dimensions as easily as you walk through a door. He harvests souls from planes of existences we've never even heard of. One of the most powerful beings of the multiverse. He's practically a god. And he stole my phylactery!
We've been doing some research.
I've been doing the research! I've been poring over arcane studies and ancient texts and discovered the theories of a powerful necromantic artifact that uses lich phylacteries. The Soulmonger is designed like a super phylactery, drawing in dead and dying souls from a large radius. If it were big enough, it would encompass the entire world. To what purpose, I do not know, but if a Serax's behind it, it's bad for us all.
I contacted an old friend. There was a mercenary group hired by the Harpers that was operating in Chult over the last few months. The Company of the Yellow Banner. They were seeking an ancient artifact, I forget the name. Something that was supposed to help a friend of theirs. According to the Harpers, they were sending back regular reports as they made their way through the uncharted jungles. They stumbled upon the ruins of a lost city and saw terrible visions of a figure who destroyed it. A Shipwreck. It's thin, but it's the only lead we have, and you're the only ones we know heading to Chult. The Harpers have revealed their contract in Port Nyanzaru.
Callanar wouldn't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. One of the merchant princes, Wakanga Otomu. He was the one communicating with the mercenary group. Meet with him, and hopefully he can tell you more.
I can sense my phylactery far to the south, but I cannot pinpoint its location. Even now I feel its energy being manipulated, and I can do nothing. You must find the Soulmonger, shut it down, and recover my phylactery. I fear this death curse will only get stronger as the Soulmonger draws in more power. Soon it will have the power to rip souls from every living... And the light projection shimmers and shudders, and you can see on the other end smoke rising up as several of the mages and priests collapse from exhaustion. The stone on the ship floor has partially melted and has begun crackling and sizzling as though being cooked, and several of the crew members are crying out in alarm and just calling for buckets of water at this point. And they've kind of like snapped out of the... Everybody was just staring while this was going on. With a final crackle, the light winks out and the melted rock dims and cools and appears completely inert and functionally destroyed. At this point, Captain Ordame has come down into the deck and has like just huge saucer eyes. What the hell was that all about? What's a death curse? Who are you people?
We're people in over our heads, that's who we are.
For the first time since stepping on board, you hear Grig's voice, and he doesn't bother whispering it. He says, I told you this was a bad idea. We should toss the lot overboard and forget all this.
Whoa now. Why toss this over when you could just turn the ship around? We could all go back, happy peace. Actually, I need to get home. How about if you drop me off and then you all just turn around?
Undril speaks up and says, But what about Camp Righteous? We should still go there in case they need our help. Maybe they know about the Soulmonger. Maybe they can help.
Yes, that undead abomination needs to be snuffed out. Destroy his phylactery.
Yeah, you... So...
Turn on his flesh.
None of you would recognize that figure, but that was Renwick Caradune, who was the lich from Princes of the Apocalypse, whom Callanar swore his services to at the end of that campaign. Special guest star
Karen, what's the
Callanar in
club?
that intro. Thank you to Chris for providing that.
Callanar's risen to the ranks and his hypocrite status.
You guys have stumbled upon the main quest to find and destroy the Soulmonger. No matter what your
Well, that
personal,
was easy enough.
no matter what your personal quest is, you all have felt the effects of this death curse very acutely. Maybe not necessarily in your immediate personal life, but it is clearly affecting everyone that everywhere you've been in the last a week or so. And this is the first you've heard that there's anybody has any idea about what's going on.
Maddox is going to address everybody in the room. He's going to say, listen, everybody. I've gathered that we're all going to Chult for our own private reasons.
I'm going home.
You've told us 4 times already. Personally, I couldn't give 2 shits about some lich and his phylactery or a death curse.
I don't even think we can trust Callanar serving a lich.
That's right. But I'm here to do a job. And as far as I can tell, Chult's gone to shit. Crawling with every manner of thing that'll kill us all if we go it alone.
Hey now, watch how you talk about my hometown there.
You haven't been there in years, right? It may have gone to shit since you've been gone.
Good point.
And the way I see it, we all are gonna need each other to stay alive in this godforsaken jungle. And if that means heading towards whatever this Order of the Gauntlet quest or path is, I think that's the best way forward.
George,
Well,
what's that?
I'd feel pretty bad leaving you guys out in the jungle with no help. I think you guys will die within the span of a week.
I keep wanting to say Halford. George points at Gillian. I don't know if that one will last in the jungle.
Good point.
Yeah.
You up for a jungle trek, princess?
I'm sorry. Are you talking to me? Are you actually asking me if I'm up for something that you land people can do? Look, I'm up for anything you're up to. I just say we be hasty about this and we don't dawdle anymore. So let's go ahead and get going, and I'll lead the way.
We still have 9 more days.
I'm excited about this right here.
She walks off the side of the
Good talk, everybody.
Wait, what?
I'm excited to see this.
Okay, then. That was a more enthusiastic response than I was expecting.
I'm
Undril,
sorry. Do you have a problem? Do you have a problem swimming? Because I'm really good at it.
I've got shitty strength, sweetheart. These arms weren't built for the sea.
Undril
Well,
says,
little man, I can carry you on my back.
you also have the quest to recover Renwick's phylactery, if you so choose.
Which is going to become a problem when our dwarf gets to the
Yes.
end of it.
Yeah.
Don't let the dwarf be the one to get his hands on the olfactory.
And Undril...
Olfactory. See, I'm on to you, Nicholas.
Sure thing, Manx.
And Undril is still obviously fighting hard to get you to all go to Camp Righteous. Even
There's
still,
different things. Yeah, I guess
these are quests being added to your quest log right now. Whether
Yeah.
you want to do them or not is up to you, but I am keeping a record of them for you guys, and they should be in your active quests at this point.
Manny's gonna say, Undril, we head to Camp Righteous. You'll come with us into the jungle when it's time.
Yes, Camp Righteous is in the jungle. If we're going there, I'm going there.
Okay. He whispers to Callanar. He goes, we can ditch her anytime we need to.
Agreed.
Your insight check earlier
I don't know how
did
to pronounce easy words.
she did appear to be a cleric.
Yeah.
Straight up. You're not sure maybe how powerful of a cleric she is, but she seemed like she could hold her own decently well.
And if these jungles are full of undead, then some sort of holy person gonna come in handy.
Yeah, after this happens, Captain Ordermay is very worried and everything, and kind of asks a lot of questions about what's going on, and she, for now, appears to still want to take you all, just because at this point she's still heading to Chult no matter what. She's got you get the feeling that all those boxes and crates are actually supposed to go to Chult. And this was just kind of she was recruited to hey, by the way, can you take these people for this much pay? And then she was kind of talked into it. And obviously Grig is not happy with any of this. Just never happy. But at this point, several, basically days are going to pass. And you all can choose how you want to spend those days.
Just trying to get to know my new teammates
Yeah.
as best I can.
Why don't we do that by going...
I'm going to.
Go ahead.
Oh well, good timing. I'm gonna play my bagpipes. So if you have any bagpipe music,
You know what? I should. I need to come up with
Great.
music for you. Yeah.
Find some bagpipe music.
I need to play
for
actual
Gillian's
music.
Song.
Yeah.
You know how to play the bagpipes?
The crew usually gives you all they're not happy with you, but when you start playing, it's like night
Yeah,
and day.
they're really not happy with
No.
us.
melodic.
It is. You know what? Roll a performance
It's
check.
most.
Wait. George wants to pull out his pan flute too.
His what? Wait, is that a euphemism for something?
George gets very excited by the bagpipes. his total meaning and
This is
things
what.
are.
Yeah. This is my.
George, I've told you multiple times to put that thing away.
Okay. Gillian, it's the crew's spirits. The crew's spirits are quite uplifted. Everybody appears to be in a much better mood. There's everybody comes up with a song, or you can be singing. Everybody seems to be
Bagpipes.
to bagpipe. Yeah, that's true.
I make a dancing man.
Look at this. We got a whole concert coming up. All right. Mannix, what are you going to do? Oh, okay.
I don't have a musical
George
instrument.
fucking whips out this pan flute, and everybody's like, I don't know. And it's the most beautiful fucking song just comes out perfectly in sync with Gillian. And the entire ship is just a fucking uproar of joyous song and dance. People are dancing together.
I play dice with some of the sailors.
Okay. Some of the ones who have absolutely no rhythm whatsoever have the surliest ones.
That's right.
I gotta say, Gillian is just a little annoyed by this pan flute thing because she's a classically trained musician.
It's dueling right now. It's like the dueling instruments. It just gets louder and louder.
The pan flute is like a jazz musician. He's just improving, and she's over there doing some classical piece.
Yeah. George is doing the anchor man with the jazz flute. I love it. Yeah, this goes on for days. Several days of just straight up.
We never make it to the island.
This is all this adventure is. We're just rolling around on this boat.
The sailors forget what they were doing, and we just veer off course.
Their ears bleed out.
Yeah. Eventually, this boat just drifts into the harbor. Everyone dead aboard.
Music still playing somehow. Corpses dancing. Marionettes. All right, so with this montage, let us take a break. And we will come back in a bit. Alright, I think everyone has returned. Try to fade out that music. Roll20 doesn't have a very smooth volume bar. It's very, like,
No, it doesn't.
jerky. Yeah. It's kind of always been the case. Alright, we are back from our break. There's been a days of revelry with the music. Actually, it's probably been about a solid 3 days at this point. You guys are traveling at a very steady knot, and Ordomay, none of you asked, but at some point Ordomay does reveal that it is about a 10-day journey to Chult, about 1,000 miles away from Baldur's Gate to Port Nyanzaru.
That's a lot of bagpipe.
How many bagpipe pieces can we hear in 10 days?
How many songs do you know, Gillian?
Yeah.
All the bagpipe songs.
I know one.
On
Welcome
the
to hell, boys.
On the fourth day, you awaken to just a very ominous red sky, and you see that Ordomay and Grig are kind of talking in hushed tones, and you see black clouds gathering to the east and directly ahead of you. And you're
Quick, what does my druidcraft say?
Yep. You activate your druidcraft, and it's giving off some warning signs.
Oh no. My druidcraft is sick, guys.
The crew seems a little apprehensive, but not like they're super horrified or anything, because storms happen at sea. Some of you might be horrified. Some of you that haven't been at sea much.
I'm not happy about it.
Might be a little apprehensive, a little anxious. You kind of see the clouds gathering, and Ordomay is kind of still steering towards them. Undrill's
I'm
kind
gonna
of.
ask her: Is this something that happens a lot?
Oops, let's put Theron back in the boat. She kind of sighs and says,
This
"Yeah,
area.
it's not too uncommon, but we should be all right. Just hang on to something, and we'll get through this." And within a couple hours, the sky is darkening. It is thundering all around you. It's waves beating against the ship. How are you guys reacting to this? Like, it is fucking very
Mannix
terrifying.
Is going to tie himself to something.
Okay.
He's gonna pull out a rope and tie it around his waist and tie it to like some part of the ship.
Okay. Yeah, the crew seem like they approve of that. The crew recommends to all of you that you just stay below deck and like stay out of the way. Basically,
yeah.
they're all being very gruff.
I'll do both. I'll go below deck and tie myself to something under below
Okay,
deck.
you go to a room with lots of like hanging knives on the walls,
Yep.
fish hooks and that kind of thing. Like, this is a good spot.
This is where we keep the explosives.
Yeah, I'm gonna batten down the hatches right here. Yeah, how do you all want
I'm
to?
just holding on to like a bed or some kind of piece of wood, just white knuckling that thing the entire time.
Okay, just roller coastering it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting
More meditation.
cross-legged in my spot, just like balancing myself with the ship as it rocks.
I'm too dumb to be afraid.
Has its advantages. The crew, if they see you, raise an eyebrow at you. Gillian and George, you guys are probably the least worried about this.
Yeah.
You
I
guys
can
can
hold my breath
swim.
underwater for
I
an
might
hour.
go just like take a dip in the ocean for a little while and then come back up and just, no, I'm not too concerned. So I'm mostly just chilling.
At some point, one of the crew
Breathing in
members,
the sea.
crew members comes up to you, Gillian, and seems to have just completely been enthralled by your music and says, "Oh, do you have some good luck for us for this voyage?" And just kind of starts like using like terms of endearment, like princess, and just and you can react to that however you want, but he's not necessarily flirting with you. He's just like he has like a worried face and looks to you for like almost like reassurance or something. He sees you as like a good luck charm almost.
Yeah. Well, and I'll try my best to provide that reassurance. I'll say, oh dear, don't worry about it. I've been in situations like this countless times and nothing has ever happened to me. So I'm sure we're going to be just fine. Just stay calm and just, let the bagpipes fill you with peace.
I could go for some bagpipes right now, that's for sure. You do know that at this point the wind is whipping around so hard you probably would not be able to actually play music. But he seems to be reassured. Yeah, the storm hits the ship. It's pretty rough, but you guys actually make through it. There's not going to be any like rolls or anything for that. You guys kind of roll around, knock a bit. At some point, Mannix, your rope kind of goes taut. You're like, oh, and it just kind of knocks the breath out of you. But nobody is too seriously injured. Class, at some point, you maybe go tumbling a little bit, but you're managed to like catch yourself like a cat and just like spring back up. And Theron, you're probably just vomiting in a corner somewhere. That's good. That's somehow, you know what? The
Amazing
storm.
Grace? That's Amazing
That is
Grace,
amazing,
isn't
Grace. The storm clouds part, and Gillian is just fucking at to the front of the boat, and they just hear this sound, and just the crew is just in tears. About a day after, you guys at this point have passed through, if you remember the map that I showed you, you're pretty much off the map at this point. You have passed through what's called Assavir's I don't know how to pronounce it. I just winged
Ass
it.
of yours.
Asavir's Channel, which is this little spot in between the islands and a peninsula coming out, and now you're really gonna like huge open sea at this point, just fucking sea for days.
More emphasis on the first syllable there.
And about a full 2 days have passed. Everybody's kind of fixing, like a lot of shit got kind of torn up a little bit. People are having to like repair the sails, and there's a lot of extra work being done. And at some point, you guys are even, you can choose to help to chip in or not, but the crew is not, they're warming up to you, basically, at this point.
I won't offer, but if anyone asks me to help, I won't say no.
Okay. Yeah, at this point, probably somebody would come up and just like, you know, like they're doing something, like, oh, can you help me? Just grab the, you know, just kind of to where they wouldn't have before. But now that there's like more shit to be done, and you guys have been on the ship for a while, you've kind of mingled with it, and Ortome seems to be real friendly about it, and you know, you guys are all kind of sharing meals together in like the common room, that kind of thing. Grig's frown has gone up like several centimeters. So, still a frown, but it's...
You can beat him now, Theron.
It's got...
He's showing weakness. Attack now.
Finish him.
Several centimeters. He's a god.
On the next day, it was been about 2 days since the storm. You guys have been at sea approximately 6 days at this point. And the... from the crow's nest, you hear a pronouncement. Dragon incoming! Port side! And
Fuck that.
all the crew members drop what they're doing and scramble over to the left side of the ship, looking eastward, because you guys are heading south. And First Mate Rudell, Grig, huffs and grunts as he walks over and has his spyglass in hand. And you guys actually hear him. He says, "I'll be damned." And then he kind of starts passing the spyglass around, and Ortime's kind of runs over and has hers. And one of the crew members got the spy, and you guys don't have a spyglass, you're just kind of standing there, and you see this little tiny speck in the distance. You can't really see much more beyond that. It just looks like, you're not sure what it looks like. And one of the crew members says, "Must be a long ways away, it's real small." And they're like just kind of passing it around. At this point, one of y'all want to try to take a spyglass, or how do you want to react?
I'll take take a look and try to see. I want to try to like roll something, insider investigation.
Perception, please.
Perception, okay.
Dun dun dun.
As I try to look at it more clearly. 16.
Yep. Mannix, you watch for a second, and you kind of you start counting in your head, and you realize that it does look like a dragon. It's got wings and appears reptilian and leathery. Appears to be coming closer, but is not getting any larger as it comes closer. And Ortime's got her spyglass. She says, "Well, dragons aren't exactly common in the middle of the ocean. I heard about a crew of crazies lashing a ship to a dragon and flying over the damn sea of swords to rescue the storm giant king once. Oh, that's a good story we all tell here."
Badass.
It's famous. Greg kind of huffs, says, "Crossbows won't do much good." And
Whatever it is, I don't think it's quite as big as you think it is.
the man glares at you and keeps looking at the sunk spyglass and just kind of makes grunting noises. At this point, the crew is, and Ortome finally says, "All right, get back to work, get back to work." And a couple still linger because obviously this dragon still appears to be coming at you, despite you guys moving pretty quickly. And you all can either keep watching it or ignore it. But the dragon does appear to continue to come closer until finally, Mannix, if you still have like the spy at this point, somebody's trying to like take the spyglass away from you.
I'm still looking whenever I can. I'm still like on alert, but
Okay.
I'm not like danger zone right now.
Okay. Probably about 15 or 20 minutes pass, and finally the crew member with another spyglass And everybody's kind of getting a little bit nervous about it because the dragon is still getting, appears to be getting closer despite the speed you guys are moving at. And then all of a sudden the crow's nest kind of laughs and just says, I think you need to look at this. And Mannix, as you can see, this dragon is now, you can see, clearly defined, and it is tiny. It is a tiny dragon. And it's still coming towards you.
Like 2 feet long, tiny, or like man-sized, tiny.
Like man-sized. Like dog-sized.
Okay.
Maybe cat-sized, you would say.
Okay.
Yeah, and somebody's like, "What the hell? Did somebody lose a pet out here? What is that?" When you gauge the dragon to be about 100 feet away, you all begin to feel emotions. You recognize are. You recognize that these emotions are not your own. They appear to be projecting. They appear to be projecting.
I don't have emotions.
From that direction, but you feel them as if you were. You feel them as if you were experiencing them. You feel anxiety, terror, desperation, and pleading. You just suddenly, these emotions just hit you like a wave, and you're just like, oh, it's very unnerving, because you were not feeling those feelings at all a second ago. And you feel them very acutely as this dragon nears.
Mannix is going to, if anybody has their weapons up, he's going to tell them to put their weapons down.
Yeah, you see some of the crew are actually like shouldering crossbows. And
yeah. And he's gonna say, I have a guess about what's happening here. Put your weapons down. And he's gonna just try to call out something along the lines of like, whatever you are, we don't mean you any harm.
Yeah, the crew member kind of look at you suspiciously and kind of look back at Greg, who is shouldering a gigantic, like just badass heavy crossbow. And he's just kind of... and the dragon appears to still be coming at you, and appears to be flying at a very erratic speed. Like, it's not just like cruising along, it's like fucking desperation mode. Like, it's just going at full speed, and it's not comfortable doing it. And it is heading at the ship like a missile.
Maybe clear a path for him to land? I'll try to like have everybody try to get like clear out of this like area right here. See if maybe we can just clear a spot for him to, whatever that thing is, to come in.
Okay. At this point, yeah, Grig's got his crossbow, but he's like entertaining you essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, this at some point this dragon gets real close. And it is very tiny, but it is coming at you, and you kind of open up a natural little path here, maybe in the middle. You kind of gesture everybody to like stand back. Grig's got his crossbow. He's like standing on the stairs, like trained at it, and a couple of crew members have. Everybody just looks really nervous about what's going on. Ordemay's not sure what to make of it either. And this dragon comes in and just crash lands onto the ship, practically barreling into you. And it is literally the size of like a dog. And you can roll. What was our rule about rolling? If you want to quickly figure out what this is. Let's see, what is this thing?
Oh, it's a cute little doggy.
You can roll a history or nature check.
Okay.
I'm gonna pet
Hey, those are both -3 for me.
the dog.
You just think it's a demon, Claus. You still roll pretty
Hey.
good.
So, you say dog size. Are you talking like Pomeranian or Wyatt?
Somewhere in between, probably.
So like a Morgan.
Yeah, maybe on the smaller end, even than that. Maybe more of a lapdog, probably. So it'd be a really big cat or a smallish dog. I'm not gonna draw a diagram of this damn dog. All right, Mannix. Holy crap!
How many kilograms is it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
God, I remember that. I remember the first game you asked me how every creature weighed because I levitate. I was like, God damn it! I don't know how much this fucking thing weighs. How much does this bugbear weigh? I don't know, Reese. Just
It's
lift
very important.
Just lift the goddamn thing.
It's about to get better.
All right, Mannix, you are quite certain this is a pseudo-dragon, which is a tiny dragon that is often used as like a wizard familiar. It's a like a not quite a pet, but a familiar. And you notice that, and you note that it understands common, but it doesn't speak. It speaks via projecting emotions. That's how it communicates. It can communicate up to 100 feet by literally communicating like ideas and emotions, like telepathically with creatures around it.
Okay.
You also straight up recognize this dragon as the dragon that was curled. Yes, this was the dragon that was curled around Zandala.
Yeah.
Yes, you think you recognize. It has like the same like
Summer-wise.
markings and look.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call by its name then and say, Summerwise, is that right?
The tiny dragon kind of looks like super exhausted and beat, like it is breathing heavily, like it has just been flying forever. And it is looking up and kind of notices you for the first time and just immediately chirps up and kind of sends out a feeling of friendship and recognition. And it's just very pleased to just not be flying anymore and in exhaustion. And all the crew member around you, are kind of feeling the same effects of these emotions. Everybody's feeling just very confused and wary. And Greg is still kind of has his crossbow there, but he's just kind of feeling like really just upset about this whole thing.
Max is gonna say,
go ahead.
relax, this thing ain't gonna hurt anybody.
Yeah, it's got. It looks like a dragon, just miniaturized, but it does have a little like, almost like a wyvern tail, like a scorpion's tail at the end with like a stinger. But otherwise, it is pretty much a size of a cat. And yeah, you feel those emotions, and now you start seeing images in your mind, like a rapid montage of wavy lines emanating from tall towers on small islands, jagged rocks, splintering wood, blood and teeth in the water. You see all these images just coming over you, and it's just overwhelming. And then at the forefront of your mind is a blonde, half-elven woman in a ship screaming at you, and you can't understand what it's saying because you're kind of seeing it from its perspective. And you have a feeling of like fear and desperation, and then you just fly off as fast as you can. And the images kind of fade, and the emotions just kind of wash over you, and you feel fear, danger, help, and rescue. Are all these concepts coming at you?
Damn woman. Why couldn't she just wait for me? He's gonna call it to the captain, and he's gonna say, did you see those islands? The ones in this dragon's telepathy?
I did. I'm not sure those were islands. It looked like just rocks in the water. The towers, I don't know what that could mean, but if there's maybe some bits and pieces of something out to the east. It's where the thing flew from. What the hell was it going on about? What is this?
A woman that owes me money. And I need to find her. And wherever she's at, it's what this dragon saw.
I hate it when I lend people money and they just don't give it back.
Me too.
Possible
Not
that
about charging
so-
interest, but
it's like I don't know how long this thing's been flying, how much off course we'd have to go. But if there's a ship in trouble, there's a code on the water. If we see or hear someone, we've got to go help them. And she kind of grins and says, and there's usually some loot involved. She kind of has like a roguish grin to her face.
Says, sure. Whatever you find that isn't my pay from the woman you can keep.
Oh, I see. Look at the colorful history you've got.
Unless there's other people alive who have claim on anything you find, but that ain't my problem.
She nods and says, "All right," and she starts barking out orders, and you feel the ship start to turn port side as you start heading east. And immediately Summerwise is perked up and you start feeling determination and resolve and like all these emotions of rescue and more good feelings basically, although still that anxiety there. And it's very unnerving because you yourself, you're not sure if like you're feeling these feelings now or if it's the dragon putting these feelings in you, but it's definitely giving off a lot. And you really didn't have this effect when it's not like the dragon's always doing this, because you didn't feel this at all when you first met Zendala and the dragon. You just feel like because the dragon's been in such a horrible emotional situation that it is just a font of overflowing emotional feelings right now.
Okay.
So the ship turns and you all start.
He is gonna turn to the dwarf though. He's gonna say, "Theron, you're good with animals, right? You want to look after this thing?" No answer.
I suppose.
Theron, you would know, and Mannix, you probably would too, that this is not a beast. In terms of, it is obviously intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
and it is clearly it is actually a dragon. It is a legit dragon. It's just it's almost like like a dog. It's just bred to be like super tiny,
Okay.
and like used by wizards. So yeah, I mean Theron can still do that, but
it can look after itself.
It can look after itself. Yes, it is an intelligent, sentient creature.
Okay.
More so than a dog or something like that. It's
Right.
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
I'm still not used to my new name, so.
yeah, everybody's like, who?
Who?
What? Yeah, and at some point Undril came up and was like, "What the hell's going on? What is this?"
Says, we're rescuing some people. That's what you're all about, right?
Of course, yes. Oh, if someone needs help, we should help them. That's what we do.
Right. Well, that's what we're doing.
Oh, I knew you were the right ones for this. It doesn't take long, actually. You guys, especially because the ship can sail at a faster rate than this tiny ass dragon. So probably within just a few hours, you all make it to what looks like mountains in the distance, just jutting out of the sea. But as the ship gets closer, you realize they are, in fact, towers, and literally like cylindrical towers coming up out of what look like very, very tiny, like island is not the right word, it's just like patches of ground on the water. And you're not sure what this used to be, but there are just little bits of these rocks and these weird, just straight up towers rising up about 40 or 50 feet in the air. And Summerwise immediately starts like almost wagging its tail with like that's the spot. And the water is very, very rough here, and the rocks are just kind of everywhere, to where Ortome has at this point completely stopped the ship. I'm doing the throttle back, that's not how it works. And the ship kind of turns a bit, and she actually calls for the anchor to go down. And you guys just see what look like almost, it's kind of a mini tempest. Like it's almost forming like this big area, and there's just rain and it's almost like a localized storm right here. And you can't even make out what's really in there, but she sees all these rocks, and she's like, "We can't take the ship in that. That's probably what wrecked the ship that your friend was on. Now I've got some rowboats. You're free to take them on there, but if she's your friend, I'll give you the first run at it. How about that? Keep me crew on this ship, see?"
Great.
The rowboats hold 4 people, so I don't know how you want to.
How many of them are there? There's just one?
No, she's got. You could do up to 3 rowboats.
Okay.
They hold 4 apiece. Summerwise wouldn't take up a slot, and it clearly wants to come with.
Oh, if we take 2, that leaves room for, what, 2 extra people? 3 extra people, if we find people alive.
How far are we swimming?
You're not quite sure how much distance it is, but it is, the ship has to stop, and the nearest outcropping of rock is probably a couple 100 feet away.
Oh, that's not bad. I'm not a great swimmer, but I'll swim it.
Like, Ordermay got as close as she could before she was like, this is not, this is getting dangerous. So you're gonna just swim in the water?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, how are y'all doing this? We need at least, they are literally rowboats, so, like, probably 2 of y'all have to be able to steer a boat.
2 and 2, maybe? And then George in the water?
George in the water. Who's in what boat? Like, I need specifics here.
I need somebody strong in my boat in case it tips over and someone needs to hold me above the water.
I'm not really strong,
But you can swim, right?
I got some swimming skills. I don't even know how. I assume I'm a strong swimmer. I know I can breathe underwater. But sure, I'll go in your boat.
Okay.
Mannix.
You can breathe underwater. Swimming's sort of meaningless.
Oh, yeah,
I assume I'm a really good swimmer. I just don't actually know if that's technically in my character sheet.
You may not actually have a swimming speed. It may just be.
I think she does.
I know that there's
really?
there's a swimming speed. Does everyone have a swimming speed or no? But
No.
it's just like the same as my walking speed.
Does everyone have
so
a
I'm good
swimming
swimmer.
speed?
Swimming speed basically means like you can swim just indefinitely. Like it's just like walking to you.
Oh, okay. I'm a really good swimmer then.
Okay.
I'm good. It's the same. Yeah. So.
You've
None
heard her
of us
mention
have
this.
swimming
You've heard her
speed.
mention this once or twice on your 6th day of journeying.
I'm a really good swimmer.
She's a really good swimmer.
A really good swimmer, guys. Just so you know.
Just the best.
All right, the medics will definitely get in the boat with the mer person who can keep him
Okay.
afloat.
Yep. All right, Theron and Kaless on the other boat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And George is swimming beside them.
He's
Summerwise
overboard.
just kind of gets on the boat with you, Mannix, and just kind of seems to hang near you because he was the one that you recognized. So you guys swim out from the boat about 100 feet or so, and the waters are pretty rough out here. And it's kind of hazy, and it's like that constant like rain. It's kind of hard to see through all the mess. But you start going out closer, and you start seeing like pieces of wood and like bits of debris and flotsam and just shit flying in the water, floating in the water, to where you're having to like really steer the boats, and it's getting kind of rough out there. And as you get within, you clearly see the towers, and you see that the towers are forming almost like a square or a circle on these like little islands, and in the middle, as you get to almost right next to the nearest tower, you are at this point probably about 50 feet away from the nearest tower. So you're like entering this area essentially. You can spot about 200 feet away, in like the middle of what this would be, this circle, the front half of a ship sticking out of the water. And it's tilted about 45 degrees against a rock, and just the mass have been shorn off, and this thing just looks like it is dead in the water. And the seas are very rough around you. You can spot through the kind of, pelting rain and everything, 2 humanoid winged creatures kind of flitting about the wreckage of the ship. And upon seeing that, you feel a wave of emotion coming off Summerwise, of worry and fear, as well as with like longing and rescue and reunion.
Not friendly then. He's asking. He's like literally talking to the dragon.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the dragon looks at you, looks kind of worried, but then also points ahead and just like makes a motion to like charge, essentially.
The Mangus is gonna call it to the other boat, like, these ain't friendlies.
So yeah, you can see there are definitely some bad things on this boat. You also notice blood in the water right around where the shipwreck is, and every once in a while you can see a fin coming up and disappearing.
Oh, great.
At this point, the humanoid winged creatures have not noticed any of you yet. So tell me how you would like to proceed.
Maybe we can get up on one of these towers. Don't know if that would be helpful.
Probably a good place to start.
There's two to the north and south of us here, and there's two. Are there two on the other side, or is it just one down in the?
Start at this closest one.
Yeah, let's just try to row towards one of the towers. Get a view of the place.
Okay. Unless you guys tell me differently, I'm assuming you're all sticking together. Yeah, including you, George, but be sure to tell me if you want to go. Well, George, you can control yourself, I guess. Good, I'll have to move the boats. So move you to like here. Were you want to go near the nearest tower up here?
Yeah.
Okay. All of you heading in that direction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so get about there. Whoops. Okay, and at this point, Summerwise is getting kind of anxious as you kind of lift towards the tower and kind of looks up there with fear, and then looks back at the shipwreck with a gesture of like rescue, imminent danger, like all these feelings coming over you. Like he's actually getting like impatient.
Yeah. Damn it. Tells the others, I think we got some actual rescues in that ship over there. I guess we gotta deal with whatever the hell those things are. And he's going to actually shoulder his crossbow. I don't know how far away are they from these guys? 155 feet.
Yep, still pretty far, and they still have not quite noticed you. They seem to be pretty intent. You're not quite sure. They're kind of flipping up and down and just kind of scrabbling around the shipwreck. You're not quite sure what they're doing, and it's still a little hard to see.
Well, once we get into 80 feet, I can actually shoot him with the crossbow.
So what would you like to do? You're not currently noticed yet.
I don't know. Any plans of attack?
The waters are pretty rough right here.
Get on land as soon as possible.
I'm with the dwarf thing.
If we get on land, I can take a pot shot at the harpies. I think they're harpies, just from the icon. Maybe draw them over to us on land, away from whoever's in the boat that's needs to be rescued.
I'm down for that.
Okay, let's get on this island then. Let's get on actual dry land and off the open water.
Okay. You move close to the island. Theron and Kalles, you make it there first. George, you can swim over there if you'd like. And then as Mannix and Gillian are rolling over there, you all hear a sound emanating it sounds like a song washing over the waves.
Can I actually try to do a check on what these creatures are over here?
You
on the
can,
boat?
yes, free action, sure.
What is it?
Let's see. It is going to be a nature check, please.
I'm not great at nature. Wow, that's alright.
How good is he at nature? He's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, you're pretty sure you identify these creatures as harpies. And you would know that harpies are obviously very known for their charming song that they can sing in a very large radius and to lure people towards them. And you begin to think this, and you know they are not super powerful creatures, but their charming song can make them very disarming for a lot of people and catch people off guard. You begin to kind of put two and two together about the ship, the locations, the towers here. And as you're thinking this, you hear the music coming.
Yeah.
Basically, as soon as Kales and Theron hit the land. And... oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
I am going to need all of you to roll...
300 feet is a long ass.
300 feet is a long-ass way. Wisdom saving throws, please.
Question: if I'm underwater,
Holy crap.
Wow.
Yes.
Alien just rocked that one.
So if I have advantage against being charmed, saving throws against being charmed, do I just roll it twice?
Yes. Yeah, if you have advantage on this.
Well, didn't matter.
All right, this is going off to a good start.
wait, you didn't answer my question. I'm underwater, so should I roll it?
Yes. I'll give you advantage.
How do I do advantage? Oh, roll twice.
Just roll twice, yeah.
Forget that.
Forget that. All right.
Manic starts to tell everybody what they are,
Yep.
but then he stops.
All right, I'd like everybody to roll initiative, and Theron, Manix, and Kales, you are all enchanted by this song that comes from the southern tower down here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's not even the two over there?
The two over there still don't appear to have noticed you, but now that the songs are starting, the song has started, they are now going to be aware that they were not singing.
Okay.
Ah! Excellent. I'm back to rolling my awful rolls. It's good.
I can't see anybody else's name, by the way. I don't know if that's a thing.
Oops.
Also, it says Chris for some reason. I don't know why it says that.
You need to go into your character sheet or your token. Oh, I bet it's your token might be jacked up.
Oh, yeah. The token says Chris. I'll change
I need to
that.
change that to your default token then.
Oh, right.
So you can't see anybody else's name?
Nope.
Alright, I'll have to work on that for next time. Yeah, so you guys are... Let's see, how does the charm work? So many initiative rolls. Alright, target is incapacitated and ignores the songs of other harpies. If the charm target is more than 5 feet away, you must move on your turn toward the harpy by the most direct route. If you are damaged and at the end of your turn, you can repeat the saving throw. So, Kales, you feel the most wonderful song coming out of the southern tower, and you are going to be diving into this water after it.
I can't row the boat? I can't try to row the boat?
You didn't sort it.
Theron's actually first.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't sort it. My bad. Sorry. Let's go with Theron. Let's see. What does it say?
I
The most
immediately
direct-
jump in the water.
Right, yeah. Most direct route. Your addled brains in the charm mode are going to jump into the water. And
Yeah.
now, you don't have a swimming speed, so I believe it's half the distance.
Is that... My speed is 25, so is that rounded down to 10?
Probably rounded down, yeah. So you jump off the boat and make it 10 feet.
I
Straight.
made it past the oar almost.
Yep. You are in the water. Kales, and you can repeat the saving throw.
Okay. Let's not get a 1 this time. Let's go for 2.
There
Right.
you go. That's
All right, so you kind of
You come
snap yourself
to.
out of it as you're bobbing in the water. You're like, why did I just jump out of this fucking boat?
I'm bobbing like an apple.
Kales, you see Theron go, and you're like, this is a great idea. So you decide to also jump out.
Except I'm gonna do it like in a fabulous 10-point dive, like hands up, barely a splash. Maybe a little spin as I'm falling into the water. And my speed's 30, so I can go 15.
Mm-hmm.
5, 10, and 15. And so, since I still have advantage on charmed saving throws, I still get to roll it twice, right?
Correct.
Damn it!
No, it's 11.
It's only DC
Oh, okay.
11, yeah. I'm actually
Oh,
shocked a
thank
lot of you fail this. Alright, so the same thing happens with you. You snap off of it, and you're looking around like, why am I wet all of a sudden?
That's like diving into the water clears your brain.
Yep. George.
What? Why you guys jumping in the water?
You looked comfortable. We thought we'd join you. Come here, let me sit on your turtle back.
Okay, follow me. What's my swim speed?
So the song is currently coming from the south. Is that what you said?
It's coming from the south,
tower?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you hear it pretty clear.
Oh, I don't have a swim speed.
What? Turtles have to have a swim speed.
Maybe they're tortoises. And not turtles.
You've been
He
swimming this
says
whole time.
Turtles aren't natural swimmers, but they can remain underwater for some time before needing to come to air.
Oh, yeah. So they just.
Alright, so you shouldn't have been swimming this whole time.
You're just towing it with a rope.
Never mind.
Oh yeah, you're right, they don't have swim speed. Huh.
Just kidding, guys. I can't swim.
You can hold your breath. You can hold your breath for up to an hour, but you can't actually swim very well at all.
I will just retract into my shell and let the water pull me forward.
What? George sinks to the bottom and you never hear from him again.
I really hope I can walk to land within an hour.
An inauspicious start.
Okay, fine. Hold on.
Come on, George!
I grab one.
Killian plays a dirge on the bagpipes.
I'd like to think that George swam all the way out here and then realized he couldn't swim.
Jumps
Oh no!
10,
Don't turtles float
20.
though?
He's gonna be on this place to land here.
No, they have a shell.
I mean,
Turtles
The
aren't
shell
aquatic.
that
It's a lie.
traps air and makes an air bubble, so they
There you
float.
go.
Yeah, it floats.
No. They produce hydrogen.
They produce hydrogen.
Yeah, that fills up their shell. That's how they float.
we should round up all the turtles of the world.
Do you not know turtle biology?
I don't.
Theron comes
but
up from
that
air and just starts
sounds
talking
like
about turtles
awful.
left and right.
Never light a match around a turtle.
We're gonna put that on your tombstone.
Highly combustible animals.
Do not
Can I
let a
tell what
match
this-
around your turtle.
Can I tell what this thing is over here?
They tell young turtles never to smoke. Sorry, what were you asking?
What is this over here?
That?
Do I know?
I think Mannix was just trying to tell you that they were harpies.
I didn't get it off though before I succumbed to the song.
What's a herpes?
What is herpes?
What's herpes?
You can roll a nature check if you want to do it as a free action.
Herpes are dangerous.
Okay, yeah, you're pretty sure it's a harpy, and it is capable of charming humanoids and drawing them to them. They are bad, monstrous creatures capable of flight.
Let's kill those things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot this one right here. Don't know how I have a longbow, but
Where did I get this longbow? Oh well.
Pulls it out.
His hand goes in his shell, and then he comes back out with the bow, and the other hand goes in and comes back out with an arrow.
Hey, it's still dry.
A 12 is pretty bad, but a 12 is going to hit.
Wow.
Sweet.
You do 3 damage to this harpy that was only marginally aware of your presence and is now very aware of your presence. As you manage to shoot it kind of in the wing as it's kind of flapping around. It kind of turns around. It kind of gives off a little creeing sound. I forgot to roll initiative for our little dragon friend.
Wait, why didn't the half-orc come with this?
You didn't ask her
Hindsight.
to. You should have asked her to.
I should have asked you to.
Alright. Oh, we're actually at that dragon, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, why didn't it add to the initiative?
The little dragon?
Oh, it's a 16, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll go ahead and just do it now. The dragon, let's see, is anybody... Mannix, you're charmed, right?
I am. Yes.
Alright. The dragon, for some reason, you feel like it has this like feeling of determination, like it knows what to do in this situation, and it turns around and bites you.
Ha!
Um,
16 certainly hits.
Right.
4 damage is half my fucking health points, dragon!
The dragon kind of bites into you.
He bites an arm off. God damn it!
The dragon looks
It's
very...
just like a playful nit. that
Yes,
he
it's
took his-
exactly. It thought it was doing this playful, like, I'm gonna save you and wake you up from it, and then it just rips off this portion of your skin, and it suddenly looks like...
punctures an artery.
Yeah, it's like, ah. And it's just... It's originally it was like, I'll save you, friend. It's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. But at least you're not
Oh,
charmed
no.
now.
Is it true that I'm not charmed now, or do I have to reroll the...
No, you are kicked out of it.
Okay, okay.
Getting injured snaps you out of... taking damage snaps you out of being charmed. So now it is... that was its turn. We're going to go to Mannix now.
Max comes to just bleeding profusely out of his wrists, where there's a large dragon bite in his wrist.
Damage.
I don't feel so good. Lost a lot of blood.
You guys thought this guy was a badass, probably. This little dog just bites his arm, and Mannix is just white as a sheet.
I'm
You've
gonna
got-
pass out. in a second.
You've got these monsters in the background. It's just like, oh god, medic! I'm dying here, fellas.
Yeah.
Need healing.
The good news is you're probably immune to the harpies now.
Yeah, at least for the time being. Can I just
Your
hop?
loss of the brain, you can't hear anything. So.
Yeah. Can I attempt to just hop onto this other boat and to get to dry land over here?
I think so. I think we figured that out. Our jumping speed at
Like,
some point,
long
but
jump. I forget what it was.
it's
but
like
yeah,
equal
I
to
think
your
it's like,
strength. Although your strength is pretty garbage.
it's pretty bad. Yeah.
But I think you can do 10 feet. I think you can clear
Okay.
10 feet.
Okay, so I'm gonna go 5. Oh shit, where's my...
Chat says it's just a rogue. You have a spare.
That's true. If I die. So 5, 10.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be
15.
keeping you safe. Whoops.
That dragon! Kill that dragon!
See, that's what you get for getting in a boat without me.
Yep.
Mannix just runs away.
I'm done. Alright, and it's in disadvantage range, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a pot shot at this harpy over here.
Okay.
Hey!
Wow.
Those are some rolls.
Boy, look at that! Our second ever attack roll, I believe, is a crit.
That'll
Yep.
do, pig. That'll
No,
do.
it's disadvantage, so it's technically just a 21. I rolled it twice for the disadvantage.
Oh, I got you. Wow. Okay. That's... Yeah.
I just rolled really well on both.
You did. Alright, that's definitely gonna hit. Well, that's not the... crit number though.
Why is? Oh, you're right. It's not.
So, click the damage on the top one,
6.
or does it not
yeah,
work?
Yeah, 6.
Okay.
There it is. 6.
Okay. All right, that's the same one that
Because you
George was
hit
shooting.
twice, your arrows went down.
Oh shit, you're right. I gotta figure out a better way to do that.
You can just manually plug it back up. It's not.
I can just plug it back up. Yeah.
But that's true. I didn't think about that. If you're doing advantage, that is gonna fuck it up though.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, maybe you would turn on the query at that point, so you can just do the once. I don't know. Whatever's easier for you guys. Honestly, it's your character sheets.
Okay.
All
Alright, so I do 6 damage to the harpy, and that's it for me.
Yeah, Harpy's taking some damage now. You stuck her right in the shoulder. Now she's getting pissed. Gillian. Actually, do have some battle music. I guess we could play.
I was finding the ocean waves relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, which one are you? I still don't know. Is this you, Chris?
No, I'm the man with the hat.
Ah, the early
Yeah.
session, the early campaign blues.
Yeah.
I have no idea who anyone is.
I am the man with the hat
Oh, I
over here on
see.
the island.
Well, I'm also not like zoomed in super far.
I feel like that's part of her character too. Is she just turns to Theron and it's like, Mannix,
Which
you
one
there?
are you? I'm not gonna learn your names.
Yeah. You there, hairy one.
Oh boy.
1 year later, that one. You.
Yeah.
Oops. Wait. Now I'm painting. Where's my measuring thing? How far away am I? I'm just like.
The measuring thing, it looks different on this one. It's the circle with the little.
Oh my god. Why is everything different?
You're 35 feet away from me right now.
They changed. The measuring thing got updated. Now it can do more things.
Okay.
Snap to the corner.
Because you're still like bleeding out, right? Like you're like half your hit
I
points.
mean, I'm
He's
missing 4 hit
fine.
points. But
Can
4
you
hit points
can you
is
see each
half
other's
my hit
health
points.
bars or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I can.
You can?
I
Okay.
can. His is kind of hard to see because of the rock, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. Okay. Because everyone is like so far away, right?
The enemies are really far away. The harpies that we
Yeah.
can see anyway.
That harpy song has an insane range on it.
Yeah.
Closest harpy to you is 155 feet away.
Oh, love that. Well, I'll.
You're not charmed, right? You resisted it?
Yeah.
You got crit,
no,
I think.
I'm not.
Okay.
I don't have anything I can do that far away, I think. Let's see. Because this is a stealth thing. Okay, so I guess I'll just swim towards them since I can swim. I don't know how. So this is like really super rocky, though, right? Am I at risk of not being able to swim this, even for like a experienced swimmer? You know what I mean? Am I gonna get like pulled in by the tide or something?
You feel like you could still swim right here. It gets a little rough, but you've got experience swimming in all kinds of different waters, honestly.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna dash. Oh, now I'm moving these lines that Hold on, give me a second. I'm just gonna dash forward, swimming.
She just dives into the water. There's no side of her.
Yeah, under the water.
Oh
So
boy.
I'll just go about there.
Okay. From where you are, throughout the different shapes of kind of wood beams and just pieces of ship, basically that you can see, you do see large aquatic shapes moving in the water.
Can I tell what they are?
Yeah.
Can I talk? Well, I can talk to them. I just can't necessarily hear understand what they say back to me. Yeah. What do they look like?
They look like sharks.
Oh. Okay.
And
well,
you note a lot of blood.
Turn around, swim back.
You know a lot of blood in the water, and
This is a mistake.
it doesn't. It doesn't take too long for you to figure out. You're very familiar with how ocean life works, and as soon as you get in the water and get that far, you start really seeing a lot of blood and even some bodies in the water, and note that this And there are, it's not like a huge feeding frenzy, but you notice just a couple sharks swimming around.
Okay. I'm going to tell. I'm gonna ask the sharks very politely, like, please don't eat me.
Can you roll your
And
talk to
direct
things?
them-
I need to see how this works.
Do what?
Can you click on your talk to animals thing?
Oh, it's just well, I can't even do anything. It just says I can communicate. Hold on, let's see. Simple ideas. Hold on, sorry. Where's the thing? I'm having trouble actually clicking on it. There we go. Simple ideas with beasts that breathe water. They can understand me. I can't necessarily understand them.
Okay.
So I'm just like trying to tell them, like, those guys, enemies, get them. Don't get me. Me friend.
Promise them harpy meat.
Harpy meat. Mmm, yum.
How are you trying to explain
Exotic.
them? Because, how are you trying to point out them? As they are not currently in the water, the harpies. And I mean, you're not sure. I'm giving it for your benefit because you're not sure how the shark's going to receive this at all. But
Right. I guess just trying to point the direction and then just say like up, like pointing towards the boat, and up to just be like out of the water.
please,
But
sharks, go out of the
water. I will. Okay, I'm trying to communicate. I will get them for you. Like that's what I'm trying to get. I will get you harpy meat. I will fetch you exotic meat.
The finest meats.
The finest of meats. Roll an animal handling check.
Oh, this is a mistake.
Okay. You think that maybe one of the sharks kind of gets the idea and decides to maybe turn away from you and attempt to go back to like whatever it was doing before, which was just kind of hunting various meats, and just kind of loses interest in you.
Okay.
All right. Next up is the sharks. Which
They're not on our screen.
they're not on your screen. No, you guys can't really see the sharks.
Right.
Pretty much only Gillian can. And at this point, one of the how fast are these things? Pretty fucking fast. Okay, Gillian, one of them is going to swim right for you. It sees a delicious triton in the water. Oh my god, why can I not go to my token? There we go. 20, 25, 30, 35. And it goes right for you. You did lure away the other shark, and that's really the only shark right now that's interested in you is this one right here. And it will attack.
Are we gonna have a TPK the first game?
Let's see how well the shark rolls. Oh boy!
Oh wow.
Pretty well.
No. Yeah.
Shark's very interested in you. Oh god. Alright. It swims out and just takes a fucking chunk out. Right when you like were able to dissuade another shark from coming at you. It's almost this clever girl situation where the shark you didn't see before just comes at you at the side.
Okay.
And the harpies, you guys are shooting at this one, so now it's pretty pissed off and it's just gonna fly towards you, which doesn't seem like a good idea for it, but it's angry. Where's the fly speed on these things? Okay. It's gonna make it to about here. It's just flying and screaming at, basically right at George. This one is gonna spend its turn still like clawing furiously at the deck, and Summerwise gets like more feelings of worry from that one. And then that's all that's going to happen right now. Let's go back to the top of the round with Theron.
I'll get back in the boat.
allow it.
Thank you. And
Eaten by an octopus.
I'll. If anyone else comes to the boat, I'm gonna sow poison spray them. But other than that, I can't do anything.
Wait,
Uh,
I was gonna get back in the boat.
Everybody
Uh-oh.
get back in the boat. You
This boat's only big enough for the two of us.
Coalesce.
I'm gonna get back in the boat.
Okay. You guys can steer the boat if you want, now that we have two of you. Try to maneuver said boat.
I assume that, but I don't have any more movement points, so.
Yeah, it takes half our movement to swim, so.
Okay. That's true, yeah. You guys are both basically spend your turn just climbing onto the boat and getting on the oars.
Yeah. We spent one turn jumping off, one turn.
Yep.
Free action, coughing up seawater.
The dragon looks Summerwise looks very apprehensive about you guys like taking some damage, and looks very worried at Mannix and all of you. Sees Gillian like jump into the water and appears like it's not sure what to do, and kind of looks at Mannix or looks at any of you for guidance.
I don't know what the dragon's capable of, but well, yes, I do.
You just got bit the fuck out of it. You notice, I mean, obviously it's not a huge combatant. It's more of just a friendly familiar. It does have like a stinger on its tail that can do some damage that you think, and obviously it can bite, but it's not like a spellcast or anything.
Can I see the Gillian shark fight going on underwater right now?
You probably see parts of it. Yeah, I think the firing into water rules would certainly apply here, including if you want to try to target the shark or heal Gillian or whatever you want to interact with that fight in some way. But
Mannix is gonna point to that little where like you can see like fins and shark fins and bubbling blood water. And you're gonna point there and say, "The fish lady probably needs your help."
okay, it seems to understand, and you are shocked because it takes off like a fucking rocket, and it moves real fast. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. It goes right up to Gillian, and like right when the shark kind of makes a pass near the water, it kind of swoops down the dragon. And it will attempt to sink its tail into the shark. Boy, that is gonna nail it. Yeah. So that is gonna do 6 damage to the shark, and the shark needs to roll. What is that? A con saving throw?
Mm-hmm.
And the shark becomes poisoned for an hour. And if the fail saves by 5 or more, the target falls unconscious for the same duration.
Hey!
Holy crap! So Gillian, you see this. You see the little dragon come by as the shark just bites the shit out of you, and then it comes by and like swims by for another pass. And you just see this little thing come in like a hawk and just swoops down and boom, and you're not even sure what happens. Just this little bloop puddle, and all of a sudden the shark just kind of twitches, and then it just goes, and it just like it doesn't ever turn its right angle to come at you. It just keeps sailing with its like mouth open, like it is just fucking incapacitated. It just like slowly lifts down into the water. And is essentially already knocked out from that. That was all right. George.
That's me. Shoot this harpy again.
Shoot that harpy. She's coming at you.
Shit.
That's not gonna do it.
6 pretty bad, yeah. Rolled a 2. Alright, that arrow goes sailing off. You notice it's pretty hard. There's not any disadvantage for the rain pelting on it necessarily, but it's hard for you to keep track now that the harpy's like coming at you full bore. Mannix.
Let's see here. Alright, he's gonna
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Is that close enough? It is. All right, he's going to run up next to George and shoulder his crossbow as well. He does not have disadvantage this time. But
Oh, boy.
he rolls a fucking 1.
Your arm is feeling like pretty painful right
Yeah,
now. You're
yeah.
having a problem like getting that crossbow up. You almost shoot George in the back of the head.
Damn dragon.
All right, the shark is incapacitated, and Gillian, you don't notice any more sharks near you at the moment. The harpy is going to continue to scream her way. 5, 10, 15, 30, 35, 40. Make it about there. And is really clawing at you as she's coming over there. Gillian! I should have actually... Well, I had a rule for the tiebreaker. What is your... In fact, let's back you up. 5, 10, 15, 20. So the rule for initiative ties is what I meant to go over this in the session 0. Between... we had another one, too, up there, didn't we? 16, 16. If it's allies tying, you guys can just choose who goes. If it's between me and you guys, then it's the dex modifier. Whoever's dex is bigger will be the tiebreaker.
That'd be mine.
Well, between you and Summerwise, you can just choose whoever goes first on that one. It's between Harpy and the Gillian needs to choose.
I was making a joke. I have the highest dex score.
You do have the highest dex score. Gillian, yours is a +2, so you get to go first before the...
Okay. I'm gonna move back here.
You at 3.5.
I'll cast a healing word on myself.
Okay.
Get all that health back.
Yeah, that was a good healing word cast. 6
That
healing.
was good.
Mannix is like,
And
you can
then-
do that?
She took more damage than I did. I would have had 1 health point if that.
That's true, yeah. She took a good chunk from that shark.
I have also I have my bardic inspiration that can be used as a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll give that to Khalees. Is that your name? Not Bryce's? It's very confusing. I'm gonna do that.
So if
That's
you
what that does.
if you cast it from, I added it to your attack and spells sheet side. If you actually click it
Okay.
from there, it will roll the dice and it will
Oh.
deduct your bardic inspiration automatically for you.
On my spells sheet?
No. On your core
Oh.
page, on where like your
Oh.
where your attacks
it.
are. Yep. Then you'll
Cool.
see that it actually will deduct your resource as well.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I guess I didn't have to because it's the other player that rolls the d6, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
Yeah, I should probably turn that back off, but... Alright, so, Kaless, you have a D6 to use on your turn. We need to come up with an icon to denote that. I'm never going to keep track. Alright, so now the Harpy will go... 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35... Alright. And we go up to Theron, who's not in the water.
I'm not.
Not quite
I'm
on
gonna start
land,
steering,
but still back.
steering this boat forward.
Okay. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You can make it to, like, here-ish.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm done.
Do you really have no range attacks?
I really don't.
Aaron's rethinking his choices. Kaless.
I will also steer the boat.
Alright, where are you wanting to steer?
What are you thinking, Theron towards the Harpy?
Ram into that Harpy.
Yeah, the Harpy is flying, but she's not flying super high. She is trying to, like, fly, like, perpendicular to basically George and Mannix, so...
Yeah, we'll steer towards the Harpy.
Okay. All right, you guys can basically make it like underneath her, essentially.
Can I reach her though?
Yeah.
Like with my hands?
You can. I would allow you to melee attack. Yeah, she's kind of like she's basically just flying like right above the water. So when you guys in a boat, that puts you pretty much high enough to be able to, at a standing position, you can attack her.
Okay. Well, I'll wait till see if she comes and lands on our boat. So, in that case, I'll still just whack her.
Wow, 25 is definitely gonna hit.
Yep.
Then I just click on the word.
Yep. Click on the little short bow.
It's not a sneak attack, so don't take the bottom number.
Okay.
Or the top number,
Damage.
sorry. The top number is
Top
the sneak
number.
attack.
Right. So just take the 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That harpy is looking pretty damaged by now. You guys have thrown a number of arrows and bolts into it, and now the harpy. Now that you've shot her, the harpy suddenly turns down towards the boat. Summerwise is going to kind of feels like a kinship with Gillian now, and kind of rolls back with her, and really looks like a brave like little dog, but is like looking around for sharks now. I'm gonna get any fucking sharks that come at us. And you feel like a brave determination, like feelings of heroism, like coming off the dragon. George,
What's up?
can you hit a harpy again?
Same one. Yes, I can do it this time.
Yeah, you can.
There you go.
17. 4 damage. All right. Harpy's taking a pounding. It just cries out as it like kicks it right in the side.
Still alive.
It's still alive, yeah.
Oh, I want to jump on the boat.
All right. Don't.
rock
It kind of rocks a little bit. Kaless and Theron are like,
The front of the boat's gonna hit the harpy in the butt.
It rocks around a little bit. Harpy's like, Mannix. All the cool kids are on this boat apparently.
I'm not jumping on that boat. I don't want to be anywhere near that harpy. I'm going to take aim again. There we go.
Nice. You guys are nailing this thing now. Wow. Alright, that harpy takes a fucking crossbow bolt in the leg now. It's just got like 5 arrows and bolts like sticking out of it. It is like really just blood pouring down.
Yeah.
And it is thinking twice about this gallant charge it had going on. You notice also its blood is dripping into the water, and you begin to see like a fin or two like popping up and around as a shark is nearing over towards you now.
You promised him harpy mate. We must deliver.
Yeah. Hold up your side of the bargain. Gillian.
Hold on. So. Alright, so I'll move over to these barrels. And I'm a little bit confused looking at my rapier. What's the range supposed to be? Like it says self 60-foot cone.
Oh,
Is what
That's
it
probably
is.
not right.
Yeah.
That's probably not right, right? I probably need closer than that. But I think this is probably about as far as I can go. I don't think I
Oh.
can actually get close enough to attack.
Yeah, you need to be. It's 5 feet range. That's
I don't know why it says that.
no. It's just showing you if you wanted to put something in. That's like the default that it would do. I don't know. It's just like that's actually grayed out. Where does it say the
Okay,
range on these
5
things?
feet.
Yeah.
Like my dagger, I think says 5 feet. Maybe I'm just looking at the wrong spot. Gosh, I really can't get like quite close enough. So I guess I'm just hanging out here. Well, I can give another bardic inspiration to somebody.
Hmm?
I can do. So I'll give a bardic inspiration to to Theron.
Okay. As you, what do you do when you do this
That's
bardic
my
inspiration?
So it lasts for 10 minutes. You
Like
can roll it.
like role play it out. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, what do I
you-
do? Oh, I like I sing like a beautiful a beautiful little, aria, and it's inspiring. So people feel empowered and
Duh.
I'm imagining now like the blue lady from Fifth Element.
Yes. Yeah, all that. She's blue. All right, you do that. Theron and Celeste both have inspiration. The harpy is bloodied and super injured, but it is now just in suicide mode. It is just enraged from all of these things, and is just going to make a
It's
beeline.
resigned to its fate.
Yeah, it's going to basically crash down onto the boat and attempt to attack. It's got like a club in one hand, and then it just claws. It's a really crude club, and it will attack George with the club. 14. I don't think that's gonna
I
hit
can't
the
show my armor class.
turtle.
It's 17, so you missed.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got some
well,
good
he's a
AC, and then it will turn to you, Celeste, and attempt to rake you with its claws. For a fucking 20.
That'll probably do it.
How much damage does that do?
6.
6 damage. It fucking rakes you along the claws. Ah!
I went half my life.
Yeah. Every hit is pretty much that at level 1.
Yeah.
Alright, at this point the other harpy is looking up and noticing you all, but is also noticing the other harpy like taking a serious amount of injury and starts thinking twice about its situation. It begins to like back up a little bit and looks like pensively at the boat, but honestly begins flying away. Theron.
Now you're in melee range.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, this harpy appears like almost like in a rage. Like it is just so bloodied from all these arrows.
I'm imagining like a bird that's just run into a glass window and it's just sort of just
Yeah.
like flapping around.
The glass window of your swords and blades. Oh, it's a con save. Okay. What's a con on a harpy? Let's find out. Good lord.
What'd you roll?
I could roll a
Rolled
19.
Yeah.
Is that half or
good.
nothing? Yeah.
I think it's nothing.
All
Only
right.
most cantrips or nothing.
Yeah, the harpy doesn't even notice you. It's just like in a fucking rage. It's just like. Celeste.
I'll get you.
All right. Now this will be sneak attack because it is engaged with one of my allies.
It's gonna marry all of you soon.
Wait, it's half. No. Never mind. Okay.
Wait, what is the inspiration thing? Or the bardic inspiration?
You get a
D6?
plus D6. Yeah. You can
Uh,
use.
Yeah, let's go ahead and use it.
Do it. They're pretty low. Yeah. What their armor class is.
Look up what all you can.
11?
11 just hits. They are not
Sweet.
wearing any armor whatsoever.
And with my sneak attack, it's 10 points of damage.
All right, Celeste, how would you like to murder that harpy?
I would like to cut its head off.
All right.
wow.
The harpy is just like in a rage all of a sudden, and it turns to you and locks eyes with you one more time, and you just slice. Yeah. And its body falls over, and its head just comically sits in the air for a second, like balanced on your blade, and then you just kind of let it drop.
I'll let it drop in the water.
Dunk.
Sharks can eat.
Peels over backwards. Yep. And as you do, like, as it floats for a second, the shark, like, comes up. Oh, thank you. No, I didn't say that. He just goes. And with that, as I said, the other harpy is thinking twice about this, seeing you murder that one, and is flying back to what looks like its tower up here. And it flies out of the way.
Oh, that's what these are. These are like harpy towers. Or maybe they are now.
Essentially, you guys are... there are still sharks in the water, but they're not like coming at you if you're not in the water. So you guys are technically out of combat at the moment.
I'm gonna ask somebody to come back and help me get the other boat so we can go rescue whoever's in that ship. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we can hand wave that, whoever wants to.
Yeah.
Gillian, get back in there. Summerwise there. Alright, so with that, you guys, move the
Throwing the
RV
body
away.
over the side of the
Yep,
boat.
exactly.
Get away.
Alright, you guys can approach the ship. And it's literally like just kind of in the middle of just being cracked in half and just getting destroyed by all the waves, and just there's destruction everywhere. It looks like it definitely just ran aground in here. And right when you guys like get close, you see a kind of a hatch open in the bottom, and you don't see anything, and then all of a sudden this person like appears out of like thin air, and you immediately realize there was some kind of magical effect there. And it is Zandala, the half-elf woman.
Mannix is gonna immediately stand up in the boat, point at her, and say, You owe me money!
And with that, I think we're going to bring this session to a close. Thank you to Chris, Heather, Rochelle, Raymond, and Reese for playing. Thank you to... Let me switch this over to our actual outro music. No more ocean music for you. Thank you all the wonderful fans for watching. Go to RogueWatson.com for recaps. Patreon.com/RogueWatson if you'd like to support my channel. We're live streaming our D&D adventures every week, and we will see you next time.